Grim. What are we gonna do?
Grim. That's how it looks.
I'll take Grim right now.
I am the Grim Reaper.
Bit grim.
The bosses are good.
And make it grim.
A grim tale indeed.
It's a little grim.
Meaningless and grim.
It's the Grim.
It's Grim.
Pretty grim, huh?
Things look grim.
Evening all. Tonight we are playing Fabula Ultima, which is a JRPG, so Japanese role-playing computer game inspired RPG for tabletop. Now it's not a Japanese translation. It's from Need Games. It's an any winner. It's fairly simple and it's full of all kinds of JRPG tropes and so on. From reading it and dickering about with the system, it seems like a good one that does what it's supposed to. So we're going to see how it goes. I'll do a little bit of explaining on the system and so on in a minute, but first, my headset has broken on one side, so it is precariously balanced, and the loose flapping part of the bone conduction earphones is buzzing like a bumblebee next to my ear, and it's rather ticklish. So if I seem a little bit distracted or find it hard to hear what people are saying, that's why. A replacement is on the way. Let's bring in the players. Hello all. Right. The core of the system is that you take 2 dice, both from your statistics. Those form a combination. You roll that combination, total them up, and that's your score. Sometimes you'll have bonuses to that score, so you add that on top as well. If you roll a double 1, you screwed up. If you roll doubles of any other number and they're 6 or higher, then that's a crit. Don't pick up your dice straight away because you'll need your highest roll quite often. So if you're in combat with someone, for example, and you rolled a 4 and a 6 on 2d6, your attack score would be 10, but your highest roll would be 6. You would take that, add whatever damage bonus from the weapon or whatever, and that is how much health damage you would do. So it should play fairly quickly and fairly intuitively. Characters have various special abilities that influence things in various ways. Most of them either have the 2 dice laid out already or the statistics laid out already and a description of what they do. But I'm going to have to trust players to have read their sheets and know what's on them, and we'll see how things go from there. Is there anything anyone wanted to ask me about the system? Anyone? Beulah?
Not system. I have setting questions.
Okay. Well, it is a generic system, really, for you to make your own adventures and so on in. I have the High Fantasy Atlas here. So they're doing sort of setting style things. In our setting, you live in the lower levels of a city built into a mountain, in the sort of slums underneath at the moment. And the area that you live in is called Undertown, and it is very much in the control of a criminal cartel called the Okiwaru. There are humans and sort of quasi-animal people, machine people, things like that. Sort of Magitech, but on the low end of Magitech is where I'm sort of aiming.
All right.
Any other questions? Setting or game rules? Everyone
Nah,
understand
but
how powers and stuff work?
No, I'm letting you know, though, that I swapped out the katana for a bronze sword. Not because it's better, it actually does less damage, but I don't know why. They had it as an example, as a katana and a bronze shield, and I'm kind of like, yeah, but katana's listed as a two-handed weapon, so you couldn't use your shield and your katana at the same time, so... just to keep things in balance and not take advantage of GMs who don't know any better.
Okay. Any setting stuff anyone wants to ask? Or should we just do like a JRPG does and just toss you into it?
Yeah, I think Austin.
Go for it.
Don't all JRPGs start with like a boss battle immediately?
Often. All right. Can everyone rotate their cameras and crouch and jump, please?
Squeaka, you're supposed to be here. You got to play Minuet.
I enter the Konami code.
Do you want to join us, Squeaker? Give it 5 minutes for the lag.
I'll send her a link.
Can't do it today. All right, fair enough. All right. So imagine we're opening with a very slow camera pan, just dropping down through an underground city. There's glowing crystals here and there, and orbs lighting the way here and there. And in the crowds, people are walking with staves with glowing lights atop them, or more conventional lanterns and things. There's an eclectic mix of people, humans, and various near human races and species. A few mechanical beings, some of them crude rusting iron clanking along, others elaborate, inlaid with silver and brass, all kinds of other combinations. Little motes of light dance here and there, spores from glowing mushrooms that grow on the outer rocks, and way up above, like stars in the sky, occasional little bits of daylight peek through cracks in the rock and lance down into the city below. And wherever the light hits, people have little terraced gardens with rather sickly looking plants in them being tended to very strongly. Yes, there will be one of those. You were asking in private. All right. Our camera continues its way down into the streets and moves and twists through the alleyways. Here and there are illusion magics creating the equivalent of neon lights and things to encourage people to duck into one drinking den or one house of ill repute or another. Then, abruptly, most of the buildings seem to be abandoned, and then in the middle of all this rock we're in is a somewhat more palatial place, a former temple surrounded with highish walls. Through the gates we go, inside, past various men in loose suits carrying hatchets of various races, and we end up in a rather palatial but slightly worn and dog-eared waiting room in which our three characters are awaiting an audience with the local head of the cartel. Would you please introduce and describe your characters?
Mako is a machine soldier who was abandoned a long time ago after a battle and basically kind of nursed back to health / rebuilt by the cartel. He's very morose and somewhat guilt-ridden because of his participation in past wars, even though it really wasn't his choice. And he mostly acts as a bodyguard and a protector for most of the other characters because he wears some of the heaviest armor, carries the heaviest shields, and carries a sword.
Who wants to go next? Yoka?
You may call me Yuka. For a long time, I have worked, and I've seen many things. But don't ask me about my past. Right now, I'm just trying to pay my debts one step at a time. I'm dressed in flowing robes. As a wandering rodent. Long hair, smoking a pipe. No Tai Chi at my side. And a small shield.
Yeah, like a buckler, really. No, actually, you've got a manica, so you mostly look kind of samurai-ish, but you've got a sleeve of armor down one side, so you can protect like that, like the Roman gladiators had.
Sorry, I thought manica was a type of shield.
Well, it kind of is, but it's more like a really long armored gauntlet for protecting that side. And Arik?
The most impressive thing about Arik is his cheekbones. Razor sharp, delicate, finely angled. He radiates boredom, contempt, disinterest. Except occasionally, if a door opens and one of these last little sort of rays of sunlight manages to trickle all the way down this far, he avoids it like he's trying to not look directly into an arc welder's glare. He's very pale. Superficially, he looks very well dressed, but anybody who's paying attention will notice that, for example, the heel of one of his boots is actually held onto the rest of the boot by some sticky tape. He's very, very pale.
Yes. All right. So yeah, you're left for a while. I mean, just long enough for the silence to become uncomfortable. You probably know each other at least by reputation, especially Mako and Yuka. Arik, yeah, you've probably seen around, whining, dining, schmoozing, those sorts of things. He's probably in debt to like half the drinking houses and gambling houses in Undertown at this point, but somehow his charm keeps him from being, well, having his legs broken. Quite
yes, I think probably what it is that he, I mean, he's actually described as a half vampire. I don't know exactly mechanically how that plays out in terms of your standard sort of vampiric things, but he certainly believes he's fully vampiric.
Yeah, it's mostly kind of set dressing, but you can tap into that if you want to do something slightly vampire-y.
Yes, and some of his abilities do sort of feed into a certain species of of those sort of legends. But the point is that he has very expensive tastes, shall we say, that can only be provided by people who can get hold of orphans who won't be missed. And that means that, yes, he owes a lot of people a lot of favors, and he usually pays them back by doing a bit of freelancing work, which may or may not have got him in trouble with the cartel at this point.
Yes. All right. A sharp-dressed man with a pompadour haircut and with a hatchet tucked in his belt appears at the door to the waiting room. BB will see you now.
All right, I will walk in, kind of on guard, because I don't know what to expect.
And presumably you two follow on?
Yes.
Eric stays seated for just a few heartbeats, watching these two well-drilled killing machines get up and just respond to orders. Rolls his eyes in a sort of yes, and then follows them in, pretending to insolence, but actually he's really quaking.
Mako just keeps his eyes on everything and everybody, just tense and always waiting to whip his sword out if it requires it.
All right. So from the waiting room, you're led down a short corridor, and from there into a nice office. A big glow crystal is attached to the ceiling, giving everything in here slightly bluish, but so slightly cold sort of light. But there's all kinds of rich furnishings, thick carpets, paintings on the wall, carvings, objets d'art, and so on. But it looks like it's been put together by someone who just heard that if you're rich, you're supposed to have paintings and carvings and rich things in your possession. But other than you're supposed to have a bunch of expensive stuff to show off, they don't really understand the whole aesthetic. So it's a bit of a jumble. And at the far end of the room is a very big, very ornate stone desk, and behind it a very short, very diminutive little toad man. He cranks up his chair to get some height to be closer to eye level with you. Oh, come in, come in.
I'll step aside to the left.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll step aside to the left to let the other two line up.
Yeah. So, how are things?
BB, I see your renowned good taste has not deserted you. It is quite clear from Eric's expression that he finds this man ghastly and vulgar.
Yeah, well, you've been very helpful gauging the modern taste of the upper classes. I like to live good, like to spend my money well. He pets a particularly ghastly little statue of a golden goat on the side of his desk. A new acquisition.
Ah, delightful. Not everyone can carry this aesthetic off, but it suits you perfectly.
1 second, because Mal seems to have got back early, so I will see if he can join us.
Hey, that'd be cool.
And he'll also need the character sheets.
You better let him know that Uoka's already taken, because he's going to want that one right away. I will lay odds that he'll play Ichabod.
Well, we shall carry on for now. If it's tardy, it's tardy. Right. Yeah, I was hoping someone else, another gun for hire, would show as well, but I think we can proceed with the people we have here. Mako, everything in working order? Do you need any oil?
All systems are fine.
Good. And Yoka, you suitably lubricated?
Yes, for the time being, I am.
Good. And Eric, I trust you liked the special treat that the cartel arranged for you last week. You're full. You're not going to be biting anyone.
Oh, well, while I, of course, am grateful for all the little gifts that you send me, and this one was particularly delightful. Excellent company. always nice when you wash them first. But you know me. I am what I am.
Good. Yes, you are what you are. So, you all kind of owe us for one reason or another, right? So I'm thinking we might have a job that could make everything square and make this more of a kind of even arrangement between us going forward from here.
Just tell me what you want.
Yeah, always to the point. None of the pleasantries. Okay. Well, you see, there's new pipes being put in to bring back some of the ether from up the line. Keeps the lights on, keeps the water running, all of that kind of thing, but most of it goes upstairs. So us people down here, we don't get so much of it, you know? And it's kind of unfair. So I'm thinking we find one of these new control rooms. I got plans for where they are, and redirect the flow a little bit, so we get a little bit more juice for the squeeze down here. So he rummages in his desk drawer, takes out a plan and folds it down. Very expensive paper, but the plan itself looks like it's been drawn in crayon. So we take the line and you stop the train just past Coalface, right? Past Coalface, there should be a turn off the train line, some old natural cave tunnels. You head down them, you should end up in the old pipe works. You follow the pipes, then eventually, if you follow the pipes, you should be able to get to the control room. When you get to the control room, you twiddle the knobs, you pull the levers, you get stuff redirected to us. I got a guy who works in the tubes, and he said these are the settings. He hands you a scrap of paper. So that's all. It's just, with it being fresh digging, there could be creatures out there that have been disturbed. Could be old mine works, old tunnels with things in them. There could be leaked ether manifesting into God knows what. So, I just want to make sure I got my best guys who owe me enough that they're going to jump at the opportunity. Mr. One Star, welcome. Late, but we'll let it pass. Just telling these guys about the job.
I heard a little while I walked in.
Yeah. I assume you're up for it because you want to square your debts with us.
Sounds good.
Cool. And if you want to lift any of the equipment and stuff you find down there, wouldn't be averse.
So all in all, we make a nab from the upper side of the table.
Yep.
Our reputation, and we call it good, yeah?
Yep. And we'll be square, and then we can have a more equitable relationship going forward.
Equitable. Sorry, go ahead, Mel.
I never said
that. Equitable, hey, baby. You've been buying one of those word-a-day calendars again, haven't you?
Yeah, well, going up in the world's got to act the part,
Yes.
But I ain't got to magnanimous yet, so make sure you do a good job.
Well,
All
in such fine and esteemed company as this, how can anything go wrong?
Well, things have a habit of going wrong, but I'll leave you to it. Come back when the job's done and fill me in.
Does anybody have the capacity to, Mako, do you have the capacity to kind of digitally image these various schematics that he's shown us so we don't have to carry them around with us?
That's a good question, Grim. Do I?
Do any of your themes or origins or anything seem to apply there? Identity, theme, or origin. What have you got for those three?
Identity is machine soldier without a purpose. Theme is guilt. Origin is abandoned machine soldier. So,
being a machine would seem to do it. So I'll let you digitally memorize the plans for a Fabula point.
I got to spend a Fabula point to do this.
Spend a Fabula point to do it.
All right.
It's not power or something.
All
But
right,
it would
I'll
seem to
mark it
be-
off.
Invoking one of those would seem to cover it, I think.
It's done. What else do you need?
Eric looks him up and down. This sort of enormous. Presumably, I'm just envisaging the fact that he's like 7 foot tall or something, and sort of 4 foot across at the shoulder.
Well, he's designed to protect people, but part of the way you protect people is by getting in front of them so he can take shots. So, yeah.
Eric looks him up and down. Is there a tiny bit of fear in Eric's eyes? Maybe. Well, that's marvelous. That's marvelous. Jolly good. And then he folds up the schematic anyway and kind of sticks it in his trench coat pocket.
Actually, mind if I see that for a bit?
Oh, yes, please. Hand it over.
I would like to try to, if I can, make a mental map of it.
Yeah. Let's have a look at your sheet.
Try to commit it to memory.
Yeah. Roll insight and will.
Insight and will. 2d6. Gotcha.
Yeah, not your strongest suit.
Well, I got a 6 and a 2 for a total of 8.
Okay. You think you've memorized it? Of course, the proof will be in the pudding. So
Okay.
if it comes to it.
The cockiness is wearing off. I'm trying to mimic the face guy, the vampire. Oops.
All right. Off you go then, and come back when the job's done. Might be a little bonus in it for you if you do well. And BB cranks his chair back down till he almost disappears behind it. So the first stop is the train station.
How routinely surveilled are they? Are trains? Is there like fisheye cameras in every carriage? That kind of business?
No, it's not quite that high tech. And it's mostly magic. There'll probably be a handful of very bored and disinterested guards just to make sure there's not pickpocketing and so on going on. That'd be about it.
And is it technically how technically difficult or easy is it? Okay, so first I'm assuming there's a kind of pull cord emergency stop system of some kind.
Yeah, there'll be something like that. Yeah.
So that's how we stop the train. If you stop it, how do we open the doors?
The doors are manual, so you can open them. You could open them while the train's going full tilt if you wanted and leap out. In fact, quite often people lean against the doors and they fly open anyway. So,
all right. So I don't know what Ichabod's areas of expertise are. I defer to him if he is more adept at avoiding law enforcement.
I think his specialty is putting holes in people.
yeah. Magical holes in people.
Well, should we have a particular plan of order? Like, I think since you have a way with words, Eric, you should probably be the face guy for social interactions. Mako definitely seems to be a giant walking wall. And Ichabod, are you more versatile to range?
Yeah, I'm a shooter.
So maybe me a step behind Mako if shit goes down, but until then, Eric can lead. And Ichabod on Overwatch. Sound like a plan?
Sounds reasonable.
It's good with me.
Yes, yes, my dear boy. Whatever you think.
I'll place a hand on Eric's shoulder. It's always good to have a leader. Thank you, Eric.
This guy's leading us. We're in trouble.
You found the cheat code for Eric there. It gives you an indulgent, entirely unaffected smile. He's genuinely pleased at being flattered like this. Ah, well, I know there's at least one person I can count on who has good taste.
Ouch.
So presumably you're now making your way down to the station. You don't need to replenish any gear or anything. So one thing in particular about this system, you don't necessarily have a big inventory full of stuff like you might have in other games. Instead, you have inventory points. Once those are spent, you've run out of stuff. But so you can spend those points during play to have something that you might reasonably have on you, or in a more structured way, you can spend them to have healing potions or magic potions to replenish your hit points or MP.
And is the cost of them variable depending on just how overly convenient having something in your pocket is?
Yes. So potions are 3 inventory points. Atomic to remove a status condition is 2. An elemental shard for doing elemental damage is 2. A magic tent, which you can all rest in safely overnight in the wilderness, is 4 points. And for something random that you may or may not have, 2 to 4 points. And some character classes have access to additional things. It'll be on your sheet if you do. So yeah, you don't need to worry about grabbing ropes and pickaxes and all that palaver.
I would imagine Eric spends quite a lot of time stalking people, for want of a better word. And I guess one of his kind of areas of hunting, inverted commas, is lurking on trains. Subways being happy hunting grounds for all kinds of interesting folk. So I'm going to try and use that experience to just using that kind of experience. I'm going to try and sort of, the train line is determined. We have to take the particular line because we need to go on it, blah blah blah. So that's based on train times, like how many guards, like, so for example, if there's a midnight to 8 a.m. shift, there'll be more guards or fewer, etc. Choose a train and a carriage based on that information to minimize our chance of interacting with officials.
Yeah, so there's an early morning mining shift that goes out, and the night shift comes back on the same train, and the same late at night. There's not many trains between, but one of the ones between would be the better bet, because that's not going to have a whole bunch of people on it, and therefore not a whole bunch of guards.
Okay. I will relate this information, assuming that the others don't already know it.
Yep. All right. So then, presumably, you'll make your way to the station.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So you make your way down through the streets, and now there is an encounter system based on threat level, I think. And the lower the threat, the higher the dice, or the other way around. So let's just see if you run into anything interesting. Okay. So if you roll a 1, it's a discovery. If you roll 6 higher, it's trouble. So you're in the town, low risk. Okay. So you're making your way down towards the station. As in the rest of the city, the wealthier people tend to live on the higher ground. So where enormous stalactites and stalagmites are, that's where people have built their houses on in here. Once you get out of the hidden slums in which BB's mansion is located, you find yourselves out on the main streets with all the hustle and bustle and the colour. Bat kebab merchants selling their wares, people offering water from barrels, various gambling houses, dens of sin, and alcohol sales points, all shouting and hollering and doing their best to get anyone's attention, along with the more humble stalls for repairs and so on, as well as the more colourful folk moving about. You can pick out the cartel members in the crowd because they're usually a bit better dressed and they're carrying hatchets. All of them seems to be the thing. But there's also a lot of mine workers who are covered with a fine powder of slightly glowing dust intermingled with black soot. And they're a sorry bunch, often with lots of wounds, bruises, and so on their bodies, and looking just absolutely exhausted as they drag their way from one place to another, seeking a cheap bathhouse to get cleaned up. You're almost to the station when Ichabod's eye is drawn down a side alley. You can see a couple of 12-year-old kids playing keep away with a much younger kid, maybe 5 years old. They're tossing a little model bird back and forth between them, and he's running from one to the other after it, crying and begging for them to give it back.
Do they look? They look like they're from the same family, like older brothers and a younger brother, or do they look like a couple of kids that don't have anything to do with the other one?
Nah, they just look like random kids not related to each other.
All right, I'll walk over.
Okay, Ichabod turns aside from the rest of the group, which you can notice as well if you want. You head down the alley towards them. Kid throws the bird to the other bigger kid, who now just holds it straight up in the air, well out of the small kid's reach.
Yeah, reach over to pluck it from his hand.
Okay, let's see. It's going to be a check against the kid. It shouldn't be too difficult. Make a might and will roll.
Okay, might is MIG.
Yeah.
7.
Okay, you reach for it. The kid quickly ducks back, just out of your reach, and throws the bird up onto a nearby roof, and then turns and runs, laughing, with his other friend chasing after him.
Ichabod suddenly finds Arik on his shoulder. He's crept up silently, almost silently, and you hear this sort of disappointed sigh escape his lips as the children run away. Oh, don't go!
Is the little kid still there? The one who's
Look,
birded?
still there. He's bawling and pointing up at the bird where it's stuck in the gutter of the house.
Does it
Can
look
I?
like it's way up there?
With a jump and a scramble, you could maybe make your way up there.
I'll give it a shot.
I was gonna say I was gonna do the same thing at myself.
Well, you can both
Guess I
have a
won't
go.
have to.
Dex plus might.
Okay, that's 2d10s. Nice.
12.
I got 11, 5 and 6.
All right. You both leap up onto the roof with amazing agility, and both reach out for the little toy wooden bird at the same time.
Well, one was scrappy.
I'll let him go for it first, and then dart my eyes to get a quick view of what's going on from up above.
Yeah, you can just see the kids charging off at high speed, and it looks like the train is up the tracks and will be pulling into the station any second now.
Is there any maintenance workers that I can see, and how many? And if there's any guards, how many guards?
There's a handful of people waiting for the train. There's a couple of train guards, but they're not really paying any attention.
Looks like the perfect type of vibe, and I'll nudge over to Ichabod to take a look while we're up here before we get back down.
Sure. Let's take a look.
Yeah, well, with your eagle eyes from your brilliance with the gun, yeah, the guards at the station aren't going to be any problem, but you are going to have to head down there now, or you're going to miss the train.
Yeah. Jump down. Jump back down. Hand the kid the bird.
Thanks.
Is there no way to parkour on the roofs over to it?
I guess you could.
Sure. That's another might and insight, right?
Might and Dex.
Might and dex. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 2d10.
I take it the rest of you are taking the street. The kid grabs the bird, says, "Thank you very much," and then runs off playing with it. So Ichabod can have an extra Fabula Ultima point, or Fabula point, rather.
I rolled 2 8s.
Okay. Yeah. Yoka goes running across the rooftops, springing like an agile gazelle from roof to roof, and only dislodging a few tiles.
Eric watches the 5-year-old walk off. He looks at it. He looks at him as if he's kind of just watching a sort of an interesting insect. He's not. He doesn't. He doesn't see a child. There's no sentimentality about him at all.
When I see that look on your face, I elbow you in the gut. Not now. Not that.
Oh, my dear fellow, he's far too young. Unfortunately, the other two ran away. Never mind. Oh, look, he's a very enthusiastic young man, isn't he? He says, indicating Woka vanishing over the rooftop.
Yeah, let's get to the train.
Okay. Well,
Mako will look at Ichabod and just really, quietly in his own way say,
That was very nice.
Reminds me of my own daughter. Let's get to this train.
Engage pleasantry mode.
All right, so Yoko gets there first, leaping down dramatically from the roofs and then sliding to a halt in front of the ticket machine. Each ticket is 5 zenith, so you can take that off, pump the coins in. It gives you a ticket, and with that, you're able to hold the train up long enough for everyone else to get there and buy their tickets. Again, 5 zenith each, please. Yeah, it's a big clockwork ticket machine that basically gives you a punch card at the other end, which you then use to get ingress to the train. The train's heritage as mining carts is fairly apparent. Each carriage is pretty small, boxy, extremely functional, No glass windows, just little holes in the side with metal bars on them. And inside, it's all very strictly functional. Cheap lanterns that barely produce enough light, and wooden benches, which are a bit splintery to sit on. But it will get you there. There is a big red painted chain at the front of every carriage, marked pull to stop.
Arik takes out a superficially clean handkerchief, dusts down the seat nearest the window, so that he can see exactly where we are, so that we can pull the stop cord at the right moment.
Yeah,
and he then, despite the signs everywhere saying "Do not put feet on seats," he ostentatiously thumped both his feet down on the seat opposite.
Yeah.
So, are these like connected cars and stuff like that?
Yeah,
like a regular train? Okay. Is there windows you can see from one section to the other?
You can't move from one carriage to another. Each one's its own independent thing.
Ah, okay. Okay. So I will post up on the far end to keep an eye on things and kind of pretending like I'm just a regular guy, don't know nobody, I'm just doing my own business.
Yeah.
But keeping a watchful eye, like that's my intent there.
Yeah, you've got the carriage all to yourselves as your little group. Strange that no one else wanted to get on the same carriage with a vampire, a robot, a swordsman, and a gunslinger. You know.
Yeah,
It's just
just normal stuff.
But the train starts to rattle off after a quick little pulse of magic moves through the carriages. You briefly see a couple of runes appear on the wall, and then everything lurches and begins to move forward. Do you wish to
You're on the wall?
Yeah, just on the wall of the carriage at the front. Do you want to engage in small talk or team building exercises while he waits? Or...
Does Mako look like he talks a lot?
I'll probably do the gunslinger thing where he takes the bullets out, make sure his revolver's clean, puts them back in.
Yeah, Ichabod's revolver is a lot more complicated than it first seems. For example, there's a button you can press with your thumb that will flick out a blade, so you can use it as a dagger or sword in close combat. The bullets are configurable using magical words and fiddling about, so that they can take on elemental damage. It probably looks like one of those ludicrous 3 bullets only revolvers from a lot of anime.
Trigun.
Yes, or Guyver. That one guy has that stupidly huge revolver in that. I need to watch the meat.
Cyberpunk has one like that. The
Hellbringer 666.
Yeah, I've had that a few times.
Ludicrous gun.
So anyway, that's what I do while we're riding.
Yeah. Anyone else doing anything?
I want to go over to Mako, and you know how to stop this thing, right? It's machine, you're a machine.
Just had Mako just kind of turn his head and look at you.
What do you mean?
Machine bigotry.
What do you mean? What do I mean? you like what's
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so you see this glowing stuff right there? You know what that is?
I do not.
Oh, that's not good. Eric, what's this glowing stuff? Do you know?
No idea, but I'm a creature of very simple habits. I hazard that maybe, perhaps, you see yonder the large red chain hanging from the ceiling with the words "pull for to emergency stop" written above it. I thought perhaps we might venture to try that.
But if there's no non-emergency or this whatever this glowing stuff is, you don't think they have a check?
He looks around at the Spartan wooden seats, the repurposed steel interior, which is not nobody's bothered to paint, still covered in kind of coal dust or whatever it is in the crevices.
Yeah.
In all honesty, my dear fellow, no, I don't think they do.
All right, fair enough. I'll leave it in your capable hands. Just sit
Yeah.
back down. I don't like the steel box.
The only other thing of note in the interior is that probably a lot of miners going back and forth to work have scratched their names or rather crude depictions of the male phallus. And various because men can't resist doing that.
I'll stay at the Bob was here, and for a good time, call 555.
For a good time, shout loudly, "I want a good time."
Mako will kind of stare at some of the drawings, and then he'll take a look over at Ichabod. And...
Why are humans so fascinated with their genitals?
My wife was fascinated with mine until she divorced me, so fuck I know.
Are your genitals as impressive as this drawing?
Based on the size of the gun, I would infer not.
I think genitals are not really something you need to worry about.
Now, an engineer who can build you some. His name's Lack Wang.
Hey, how do you know Mako doesn't have any? He might.
They're all back home. All right. Well, if there's no more banter or shenanigans, make a insight roll to figure out when to pull the chain.
Insight. So D6 for me. What's the difficulty?
The difficulty, because you have the plans and everything and know when you're supposed to pull it, is only difficulty 10. And it's only that difficult because of the relative lack of visibility.
Want everyone doing it or just Eric?
Everyone can try.
I got a 7, so apparently I was too distracted by the graffiti.
I got a 9 on 5 and 4, but I also made that roll to try to memorize the map.
You did, but that also failed. So
I got 19.
Okay, yeah. You finished putting your gun back together exactly on time. Did Eric succeed?
He did, but he didn't succeed as well as Ichabod. So what actually Eric does is he's opening his mouth. He's getting ready to say now. Presumably this thing is hurtling along, but actually Ichabod gets in quicker and at the right time. And Eric hurriedly shuts his mouth and pretends, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, with clockwork, machine-like precision, which is saying something when you've got Mako standing right there. Ichabod, slaps the chambers on the revolver shut, tucks it away in its holster, stands up, and pulls the chain. The runes on the wall flare again, briefly, this time in red, and then you hear a horrible screeching noise from many, many sets of brakes, all kicking in at the same time. And through the little window, you can see sparks flying up from the wheels, briefly lighting up a rather crudely bored tunnel on the outside of the train. It rattles and screeches to a final halt. And you hear distantly voices from the other carriages being raised. What's going on?
Mako, be a sweetie and open the door, would you?
Yeah, Mako will definitely go through the door first, keeping his head kind of on a swivel to watch for any danger as he steps off. And provides cover basically for everybody else.
Yeah, he shoved the door open and dropped down onto some loose rock. It's all very sort of sharp, jaggedy, uneven underfoot. There's not that much room between you and the train, but given the precision of Ichabod's perception, you're only a handful of yards away from the side tunnel from the plans. So you should be able to duck down there pretty quickly. Many of the other doors are opening and people are looking out without stepping out. And there seems to be a train guard, not a guard, but just the train guard. Seems to be getting out at the far end of the train and jumping down next to the tracks.
Do we want to drop them or just move?
Oh, I think we can probably afford to let him go about his day. Don't you?
Fine, I'll go scout up ahead. I'll move into the first turn in the tunnels after Marco.
The rest of you all moving?
Yeah. I think right now, because we're standing right next to a train, everything is kind of well lit. But once the train pulls away and we're going into a disused part, I think I'd like to spend a couple of inventory points for some kind of flashlight.
Let's see. Call it a single inventory point, because that's something you're obviously going to need, especially if you live in the underground part of the city.
Cool.
So, yeah, you pull out a bamboo tube with a light crystal stuck in the end of it, and bash the crystal a couple of times against the wall, and it starts to glow. All right, so you're able to get away from the train and down into the tunnel, and maybe 5 minutes later you hear the train starting up again and rattling off down the tunnel.
Well, Mako will stay in a defensive position near everybody else, just to act as basically a guard and a wall if necessary, with his shield up.
The tunnel is pretty crudely made. The walls have just been hacked through with the greatest expediency possible. There's a narrow gauge pair of rails that look to be new, the metal still shining, running through the broken shards of rock down the tunnel, which is at a slight decline. 1 second. Okay, I have to go and deal with a wasp that's gone into the house, so amuse yourselves for a minute and I will be right back.
Crikey, you've got a wasp. That's a rarity.
Actually, while he's gone, what is it we're supposed to be doing? Because I missed that part.
So basically, this tunnel will lead us to this kind of borehole, as it will lead us to a sort of a series of pipes and pipe work, which I believe is, I think it's bringing water. I think it was just water, wasn't it, essentially? Or anyway, something desirable is being carried in these pipes. So we make our way to the pipes. We then have to make our way to a control room, where we're basically going to reconfigure it so that the whatever these pipes carry is conveyed to our employer's benefit rather than the people who are actually paying for it.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're doing criminal stuff. I got it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're part of a criminal organization, so.
Like I said, I missed all that, so.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to be here, but I had to go car shopping because a drunk driver took my car out last weekend, and I went out on the motorcycle to go car shopping, and it started raining. So that ended that.
Drunk driver in Canada? No.
Yeah, it's actually usually it's pretty dry here in the area I live in usually, but yeah, it was raining like a bitch. So. And I was getting tired of getting wet, so I figured I'd head back. And then I got just in time. I saw you guys had barely started, so I thought, well, I'll shoot him a message and see what he wants.
So, does he invalidate his own insurance by driving drunk?
I have no idea. I didn't get to. It happened at like was it 2 a.m, One of the neighbors saw it. He took out the car behind parked behind mine, and the one in front of mine. Took them all out. They were all write-offs. And he apparently did the same thing farther down our street. It's a one-way street, and then past us farther down that way as well. He hit like over a dozen cars. So in his little rampage of destruction. And then we have a second vehicle. We have an F-150, and the very next day, all the electrical died in it. So it's been a horrible weekend. The whole last weekend was horrible. And when it happened, the bike I just got was in pieces because I was doing just got a bike, doing the clean up and tune up and all that. So it was all over my garage in pieces when this happened. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I rushed to put everything back together, and then missed 2 days of work, and then so today I was out hunting for cars. It's been one of those times. That's kind of cool. I got back at least time to play, so it's kind of neat. Would have liked to have found something today, but no luck.
And now, perforce, you have a functioning motorbike, which might have been left in bits on the garage floor for another 3 weeks. Had you not had to, you put it together, I suppose.
No, I was pretty excited to get it done, but I was planning on finishing it this weekend. But in fact, I did the last bits of it this morning.
Okay, it's hiding, and it's either a queen wasp or a hornet. Either way, I don't want it in there. So I may be interrupted again to go and catch it.
If you put a jar of sugar water out, you can generally get them attracted to it.
Yeah, I've suggested that. So, but yeah,
I might have spray that.
Cats.
Wasp spray works.
Around. Right. Where were we? Tunnel entrance, wasn't it?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. Newish looking rails. Lots of debris, and this tunnel seems to go down and then join up with some more natural looking tunnels.
Anyone find it odd that the rails are pretty new and a tunnel's so crummy?
Not really. I mean, a lot of times people will lay in new equipment when they work in an area, even if it's an old area.
Unless anybody objects, Mako's probably going to be on point.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. We're going to move out in that order you guys were talking about, with Mako in the front and me in the back, and you two in the middle.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, especially if Eric wants me to be a step behind Mako. That way, if he runs it, I can deal damage or sneak around. But if it comes to socialization, I know I feel more comfortable with Eric as a point guide. But Ichabod, you're Overwatch all day, man. You got that nice hardware you're rocking and rolling with.
I'm pretty sure Eric will step out to talk any chance he gets. So,
all right, well, let's get moving then.
But if you two fine gentlemen want to stand between me and anybody else, that's absolutely fine.
It's logical.
All right. Yeah, so you follow it down. There's a few discarded tools at the side, a couple of broken picks where the hafts have snapped. And then this tunnel breaks through into the older tunnels that look to be natural. These are much smoother, and there's a thin blackish soil on the bottom of the tunnel here. It's not much smaller. You can still keep the same sort of order. And there's stacks of metal piping that's obviously meant to be sort of laid out and fitted together here. The pipe leads both ways. One way is roughly back towards Undertown, and the rest of the pipe seems to lead off down the tunnel the other way, more towards the end of the line.
Well, unless anybody has any objections, just continue.
No, yeah, you're on point, so you get to choose which way to go.
Well, what does the map say?
The map gets kind of vague from this point, but says follow the pipes. But it doesn't say which way you should follow the pipes, but presumably towards where they're getting stuff from, rather than towards where stuff is being sent to.
Yeah, that sounds like a good direction to go. Then we'll go in the direction of where the flow is coming from.
Okay, with the pipes to follow, you make your way down the tunnels. There are branches here and there, and every now and then there's a big vertical tube going up until the slight curve takes it out of sight. But you tramp on down the tunnels for some way, following all the newer looking pipes. So you're on point. Can you make an insight roll for a sort of perception check, please? Just make her.
This is like my worst thing. What's the DC?
Well, it's against someone else's roll, so.
Well, I don't think a 7 is probably going to cut it unless they roll low.
Probably not. Then again, it might. So that sets the difficulty, which you have to equal or better. So that's a success. All right. As you're marching forward, the tunnel up ahead opens out into a slightly larger area, and you notice that the dirt on the ground is a lot thicker here, and you also hear some high-pitched chirping between a couple of creatures up in the vaulted ceiling of the cave.
Look up and see what they are.
Okay, a couple of very large bats are flitting back and forth and making these high-pitched chirps that you can just only barely hear. The rest of you can hear them now.
Okay. Mako is going to put a finger up to his lips and
Do you
point
have lips?
upward. Yeah, he's got lips.
Okay.
He's got a face. But yeah, he'll put a finger to his lips, turn around, look at everybody else, and then point up.
Are they easy to spot as soon as Mako shows them out, points them out?
Once you've got a bit more light, so once Arik comes a bit closer with his torch, you mostly just see sort of flapping black shadows moving around. But yeah.
Creatures of the night, my people. I have no idea whether this is going to work, but it's the sort of thing that Arik thinks probably should work. So he's going to try and use his unexpected ally ability. It says one being. I don't know whether that means conscious agent or not, but he's going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, you are part vampire. So
he's going to have some great big giant bat as a puppy dog.
You can't really communicate directly with them. So all right, spend 1 Fabula point.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2 if you want to use this on both of them.
How many have I
You
got?
can get them back. So
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it makes much more sense. Yeah, of course he's going to try and snare them both. Of course he is. Yeah, I'll spend the 2.
All right. So you step forward and you make your own chirruping sounds into the room. They echo off the walls.
Oh, I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but if you roll double ones on your dice, that's a fumble.
That's bad. Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't need to roll anything for this.
I was going to say it didn't say there was a DC or anything for it. So okay.
Yes, the two gigantic bats, each the size of a small dog, come flying down out of the darkness into the torchlight of Arek's torch. And up close, they're even more ugly. Fanged maws like sharks, weird, squishy pink faces that look like cauliflower ears. Yeah, they're deeply unpleasant. But each one alights on one of Arek's arms, almost toppling him over, hanging upside down from them.
But actually, as they approach, he kind of extends his arms, Christ-like. Oh, my children, my children! So forming a kind of natural roost, but of course he can't sustain that for very long. He's kind of standing there going,
yeah,
his arms up.
It's like trying to hold a pair of very wriggly Jack Russells.
Show us the way, my dear creatures. Show us the way.
Well, he's playing with his bats. I check our 6. And every few steps we go, I make sure to check our 6.
Yeah, nothing has particularly snuck up on you or anything.
Just making sure.
Okay, they don't really understand you, but they seem to get the gist somehow. And keeping relatively low to the ground, they fling themselves off Arek's arms and flap towards one of the tunnels coming off this one.
And irrespective of what Mako or Uoka think is the right direction, Arek at the point go, follow them, they're showing us the way.
You're sure?
I think it's safe to trust the Batman.
Mako will do as directed and follow.
You stomp off after them, and sure enough, short way down the corridor that they've now flapped on way ahead. You do see some more pipes laying around, waiting to be fitted, it would seem. And then this tunnel, this smoother, more natural tunnel, breaks out into another dug tunnel. But this one already has its pipes fitted. They all look a bit corroded. There's a few bolts that have dropped off. They don't look like they've been painted in a long time, but there's definite tunnels here. And you can hear the sound of something being pumped and sluiced through them.
What is it exactly? In my brain, I thought it was just clean water that they were stealing, but did I misinterpret that?
Yes, it's ether magic in liquid form.
Ah, right.
So raw magic.
Explosive, inflammable,
flammable, malleable. So someone with the appropriate skills could turn it into something flammable, or pretty much anything, really.
So let me just see if I have the implication of what's going on here. The implication is that these partially assembled and pipe bits that are laying on the floor ready to be assembled are presumably what BB's crew are going to come after we've redirected this, bolt on and to basically siphon this stuff off. Is that right?
That would be a reasonable supposition from the information you have.
All right.
I think the question is, what's stopping them right now? And that they need a robot soldier, me a soldier, a ranged soldier, and a face man.
I think the implication is that basically there's a control room. The control room controls, but also presumably measures the flow of ether. So if you're going to steal it, you need to change the calibration, or somehow corrupt that measurement so they don't know it's being stolen. At least that's what I assume.
Oh, I understand that there's some part of mechanics here, but Is any of us an actual engineer? I think there was something that we weren't being told.
Yeah, I'm not an engineer, but I'm a tinker. I can take a good look at it once we get there.
There you go. You see, BB might have terrible taste in decor, but he is good at hiring the right people for the right jobs.
I'm somehow a bit better with machines than most, for some strange reason.
There you see, Woka.
All right, we should keep moving. Where's your pets there, Eric, leading us?
Assuming that they've just kind of vanished. They've just gone, presumably. Yeah. Oh, no, they must understand. These creatures, they're not pets. You can't tame them. You can't win over. You can only appeal to their nature.
Well, you calling them back, or?
Oh, but look. Bang, bang, bang. He bangs on the pipe with the kind of whispering, gurgling sound running past him. I think they've already led us to the right spot. Don't you, dear fellow?
This don't look like no control room.
But then all we have to do, you see, here Eric performs a sort of, a little sort of pirouetting dance step 2 or 3 or 4 times following down the pipe. You see, my dear Ichabod, look, we just have to follow the sound. Bang, 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 bangs on the pipe again. Listen, listen. And he leans over and puts his ear right against the pipe. Everybody else can clearly hear it anyway.
There is a thick gurgling sort of sound going through it.
That's fine, but I was just asking, are you calling your bats back? You going to keep them around? Are they going to be backup, or?
Oh, no.
Okay, well, let's continue then.
Just realised that. Forgotten to change the music at all, and it's been the same. So, determining which direction the goo is being pushed in. Well, it's flowing constantly, but that doesn't mean it's that easy to tell. Eric was the one listening at the pipe, so let's have an insight roll, please.
All right.
Does the magic in it carry a charge?
Yes.
Could I take one of my my magical bullets here and like put it on it, and like, you know, the way a magnet drags another magnet, and see if it'll drag it?
That makes sense to me. So you can also make an insight roll.
Wow. 12.
Okay.
I keep rolling a 10 on that one die.
What did Eric get?
7 and 6, so 13 all told.
Okay. Yeah, you're both in agreement as to which direction. Eric from listening to it and the various sounds going through the pipe, and Ichabod from holding a bullet very loosely between his fingers and putting it close to the pipe until it spins and aligns itself with it. So yes, you agree. Right. So from there, you can follow the pipe. It gurgles and it drips. Where the stuff has dripped down into the muck covering the floor, it's changed it into different colors and even different materials here and there. Raw magic's a bit unpredictable like that. Can Mako make an insight roll, please?
Okay. Is it what am I rolling it for?
To spot something.
Oh, it's a spot roll. Oh, okay. You're still not letting me get my specialty in yet, but okay. It's a fumble.
It's a fumble. Okay.
2 1s.
All right. Your opponent gets an opportunity, and you get a Fabula point. Let's see.
Yep. I can't even spend a Fabula point to get rid of the fumble either.
No, of course not. Right. All right. So, Mako stomps along the tunnel, which gets a little bit narrower. The rest of you following along from his big, stompy footprints in the muck, and without noticing it at all, and in fact making it even harder to notice with his bulk, he leads you right past a couple of extra small side tunnels that have been burrowed out. As you go stomping past, little beady red eyes appear in the dark of them, and a small gang of mutated giant rats scurries out of the back and scampers towards Ichabod, who's at the rear. Can everyone roll initiative, please?
What's the initiative dice?
Is it a dice or is it a score?
I've got a modifier of 0, which implies a dice roll of some kind.
Yeah, and I got a -1.
It's Dex plus. Oh, okay. It's a group test. So whoever has the highest dexterity plus insight should be the one to make the roll.
I have a D6 plus D10.
I'm going to look this up just to be absolutely sure I got it right, because that's part of learning games. Initiative.
I think actually Eric has the best dexterity and insight.
D8 for both.
Right.
Rather depends on. Yeah, I mean, if we've got
I've
D6,
got a
D10
D10 in
split.
both.
Yeah,
Oh, you got a D10 in both? Yeah, so you're probably the initiative guy.
Yeah, 1 sec.
And a -1 modifier, whatever that means.
It's usually for your gear.
So if there's a single roll for the whole group, then is initiative determined by the initiative roll adjusted by each individual modifier to give you your place in the turn order?
Oh, I hope not. Hang on, let me look it up.
Okay, so creatures have a basic initiative score, I think, which is just a number. Yeah. While you guys have to make a group check. So, and the difficulty of that check is their initiative score, which is where's it gone? 14. Right, group checks. Just make sure we get this right. Okay. Characters nominate a leader. This is the character who will perform the final check and determine the action's outcome. Everyone else acts as a supporting character. Okay, so who has the highest insight plus dex?
Ichabod.
Okay. All right, and everyone else makes an insight and dexterity check as well with a difficulty of 10. So everyone else apart from Ichabod roll.
And what does this initiative modifier do?
That will modify your final roll. So everyone that successfully does the check gives Ichabod +1.
Okay, what's the difficulty? Because I think I just blew it.
10.
Yeah, I blew it.
Okay.
I got a 7 and 4 for a total of 11.
Okay, so that's a success, so that's +1. And Eric?
Fail.
Fail. All right, so now Ichabod rolls his insight plus dexterity, and you've got a +1 bonus.
Yeah, which is negated by my -1 apparently.
Yeah, so that's straight.
Holy shit! I'm rolling pretty good. 19.
19. Okay. Right. So you guys, as a group, go first. So yeah, Ichabod, always on the ball, becomes aware of the sound of lithe, furry bodies covered in glowing pustules hitting the ground behind him, and turns just in time to see all of these things scurrying towards you. You can take your turns in any order you want.
So is it from the back of the group? Because we were lined up from the back. It's me.
Yeah, they'll be coming for you first. But
me, then Eric, then Oka, then Mako.
Yeah, but you can take your actions in any order you want.
Yeah, I'm just wondering so I can make sure I can clear the way so that the next person can do whatever he's going to do, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a guard action and cover Ichabod.
Okay.
All right. I'll take a shot at one of these things. I don't know how much you can do in your turn or what you can do in a turn.
So you can do one or more minor actions.
Movement is considered a minor action.
Yeah. And you can do one main action, such as an attack.
Okay. Is there a fanning attack? Like, can I fan my gun?
You're more of an accuracy guy than quick. There's some things you could take later on if we played a campaign that would give you multiple attacks. But for now, just one shot.
All right. Well, how do I take a shot then? Because I have no idea.
Okay, so looking at your sheet, your gunblade used as a pistol. You roll D10 plus D10 and add 4 to the final result.
Okay. So how does the sharpshooter and range mastery thing add in there?
So sharpshooter is one of your classes. The ranged mastery is what gives you that +4 to hit.
Okay. And then what's HR 8?
So highest roll +8.
Okay. All right.
So whichever of the two dice is the highest.
Wow. That sucks. What's that? 6 total. No, 7 total. Sorry, 7 total.
With the +4?
Yeah, with the +4.
Okay. So their defense is 12. So that's
one off from a botch. So.
Yeah. So yeah, you're spooked, but you quickly haul the gun out of its holster and let off a quick shot. It careens past the rats, ricochets off the walls, sending sparks off. And
I try to
back and forth.
And for the minor action, I try to clear the way, like get my back up to the side of the tunnel, so Oka is free to use his blade.
Yeah, so you twist, turn, press yourself up against the wall. All right, who wants to go next? Make a guard action. So I'm assuming that's sort of moving forward, moving backward from your point of view slightly to be ready to intercede. Who are you guarding?
Ichabod. So he's got resistance to all damage that's coming in, so he's going to take half damage from every attack that hits him this round.
Yeah. Okay, so Yoka?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Eric, I'll go. I would like to. Is there any way I can make a charging type of attack from the rear?
Yeah, well, you can make a move and attack. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just do that and just step out actually in front of Mako, since Mako's in front of Ichabod. Just run, slide between the legs, do a Tai Chi slash.
Yep.
Oh,
okay, so you don't have to roll and everything? You're good?
I rolled, that is 8. I have 2d10s and a 4. I rolled 1, 3, and a +4, so 8.
Wow.
Yeah. Better than mine.
You guys are being less than heroic right now. All right, so
we were spooked.
Yeah, you sort of run, slide through the muck on the ground, swing your no Dai Chi out towards the rats, and it just goes clunk and catches in the side of the wall. It's not stuck. You're able to to pull it free because it's not a botch. But yeah, that was less than impressive.
Using a large stabbing or large slashing weapon in a narrow tunnel.
Insert this entire culture's and game world's explicitives of vulgarity.
So, Arik, it's all down to you.
So Arik is just sort of staring daggers at Mako at this point. He understood that Mako was supposed to be guarding him, and he's just stopped off down the corridor to stand next to Ichabod. And then he watches Yoka do the same bloody thing, rushing away from his side.
Well, it puts you at the back.
Desperation, and with delusions of lion taming, he unhanks. I'm assuming it's a kind of minor action to kind of ready a weapon or something. Like that.
Some minor action to ready a weapon.
Yep. So he will unhank his whip and just sort of he's literally trying to go away, whipping at them, trying to drive them off. So I'm rolling 2d8, which is well, it is a matched pair of numbers.
Are they over 6?
No.
Okay.
So 3s, 6 in total.
The rats are far too agile to be hit by that. So yeah, you snap out your chain whip, and it just clinks off the wall in a shower of sparks, and the rats continue to bound forward.
So we all whiffed
it. Yeah. Right. Every single rat leaps upon the somewhat prone Yoka to try and chew on his various soft parts. Right. So that's dexterity and might.
My defense.
What's your defense? Yeah.
13.
13. Okay. Okay, by some miracle, only one of them managed to land a proper hit on you. So as you're sort of clumsily trying to pull the no dai chi out of the wall, you fend most of them off with your other arm. One manages to bite you, so you take 9 hit points of damage and are poisoned. So what does that do? Poisoned. I'm assuming it's either health or weakness of some kind. No. Temporarily reduce your might and willpower by 1 die size.
Then how long does that last?
Okay, they can be healed through resting or via specific spells, skills, or items. So just a short rest to get your breath back would be enough.
Okay.
But for the time being, yeah, each of those dice goes down 1 step. All right, it is the party's turn again. You just saw one particularly nasty and scabby-looking rat squirm its way into Yoka's robe, and can hear just biting and munching noises coming from underneath.
Do you guys mind if I act first on this go?
Yeah, please.
So I'm still cussing all the explicitives. Am I able to use Fury now?
Let me see.
I think you were always able to use it.
Yeah, that's character class. Okay. You're not in crisis, I don't think, because your health only went down by
9. So 56 I'm at right now from 65.
Yeah. No. So once you go into crisis, then your adrenaline bonus kicks in and you do additional damage.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna make another slash attack then. Hopefully better this time. And then I can use a minor action to withdraw behind the big automaton, right?
Yeah.
That's better. 8 and 4 plus 4 is 16 total.
16 total. Okay, that is going to hit one of the rats. Probably not the one in your robe. Yeah, so take the highest roll of the 2 dice.
8.
Okay, and add the bonus damage from the sword.
So that's the roll high. So I got that's a plus 10?
Yeah, so it's the highest roll plus 10.
Okay. So yeah, 18 then.
18. Okay. All right. Yeah. Pulling the sword free finally, managing to lash out. You cut across the side of one of the rats, and it's hard to tell due to all the weeping sores and things along its side, but you fairly certain you landed a pretty solid hit. Unfortunately, despite being a giant rat, it's still quite light compared to a human body, so a lot of the force was spent sort of flicking it down the hallway a short distance. But it's definitely hurt. Who's up next?
I can go next. Oh,
actually, yeah. In order to kind of clear Ichabod so I can protect somebody else, I'm going to go ahead and attack the nearest rat that is attacking him.
Okay.
Or in this case, it would kind of be attacking me, but it's really attacking him.
Yeah.
So
go for it.
All right. Make my roll. I got a 8, 9, 10, 11.
That's not enough. You need 12 to hit a rat.
Well, shoot ski. Okay.
Yeah. So you repeatedly thrash the ground with your sword to try and hit this rat. Yeah, it keeps doing forward rolls and avoiding your blows somehow. Just repeatedly forward rolling each way.
Okay.
Clearly you're a boss fight.
Well, I'm hoping it'll attack me.
Yeah. So what, Ichabod next?
Sure. You said there's one rat in Oka's robe attacking him?
Yeah.
All right. So I lean over and go, sorry for the hole. Bang! There we go. 17.
Okay, that's a very definite, palpable hit.
More expletives begin to utter.
And the damage is 16 then. If it's high, plus 8.
16. Okay.
You have holy robes.
All right. So, yeah, there's a deafening bang and a tongue of fire singes the hole in the robe. The rat is clipped and knocked free of the robe, tumbling out of it onto the ground with smoke coming off its fur, but it's not defeated yet. So, Arik.
Yep. Stepping forward, lashing out with this whip, and missing.
Okay. It looks very impressive with you sort of whipping and twisting it around your body and then lashing out and missing entirely. Okay. So let's see. Let's have one on each of you just to make it nice and equitable. Okay, what's Yoko's defense?
I'm a 13.
Okay, that is a hit. Take 16 hit points of damage. And you can't be more poisoned than you already were.
Well, that's at least nice. I was fearing about being doubly poisoned.
Yes. Poisoned. Yeah, so enraged by being shot, the rat from the ground scurries up your leg under your robe and starts chewing on the back of your knee. Which is deeply, deeply unpleasant. Mako, the forward rolling rat suddenly stops, darts forward, and tries to get at the various tubes and pneumatics in your leg. What's your defense?
20.
It is not going to roll a 20. So yeah, it just gnaws ineffectually.
No. You still have to roll it. You still have to roll it.
I did roll.
Okay, what'd you get?
I got 15.
Okay. You have to tell me if it's an even.
Okay, it was not an even. Right. Ichabod, one of the other rats, while you're busy trying to get the other one off Yorka, leaps on your back and tries to chomp on you. What's your defense?
11.
Okay. You notice in the nick of time, throw yourself across the corridor to the opposite wall. It misses you, hits into the wall, and sort of scurries up and around over the ceiling. And the last one squares off against Arik, following the length of the chain up towards him. What's Arik's defense?
11.
You are hit for 11 hit points and are poisoned.
Okay.
So yeah, it throws itself through the last distance between the two of you and sinks its teeth into your forearm. New turn. Your goes.
Mako stab.
All right, go for it.
There we go. There's an 18.
That's a hit. Take the highest one, add the damage.
So that would end up being 12, 13, 14 damage.
All right. The one that squared off against you throws itself at you, and you stab the sword forward, impaling the poor creature against the wall, and then draw your sword out, and the lifeless body falls to the ground.
Oh, and for a minor action, I will step in front of somebody else's critter in order to provoke its attack.
Okay, so try and draw it onto you. Okay. All right, who's up next?
I'll go.
Okay.
I looked at Oka. Hey, don't flinch. Fucking exact same roll. 17. Exact
Okay.
same.
Son of a...
So that is 16 to the rat.
So how much damage, sorry?
16. It was an identical roll.
16. Okay. Yeah, so a second bullet hole, large bullet hole, appears in Yoka's robes. There is a fleshy, wet explosion behind your leg, and it kind of looks like you shat yourself with rat guts. But it stopped biting.
Now freeze up your sword so you can do something.
All right, with that prompting and inspirational, here you go, bro. Now get shit done. There was one on Ichabod, right?
It's jumped on the roof.
Yeah, it's currently running around the roof.
Yeah, that's why I shot at yours, so you could stab that damn thing.
Cool. How you said the roof's not too terribly tall, right? We were still kind of doing that crouch bit.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, you
so
got a huge sword, so
yeah. I'm going to slash at it. Yeah, with all the pain that I can muster to give it. Shit. So 4 or 5 is 9, plus another 4 is 13.
That's a hit. So take the
Okay.
highest die, add the
And then
damage.
5 plus 10 is going to be 15 damage. Does it knock it down at all?
Yes.
And then I have a move action, right?
Yeah.
That I could do. Where is Eric's rat in position to him? Is it in front of him, behind him?
It's in front of him.
All right. So can I maneuver myself between the rat and Eric?
I don't think so.
No. You can come up behind it and flank it.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Well, then I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably stepped in front of Eric's rat. So
So it's just Arik left to go.
Yep. Flailing away with his whip. Another pair of doubles.
What did you get this time?
A total of 8.
Okay, so
Nice.
not useful doubles,
No.
and not a hit either. You flail around with your chain with increasing passion and intensity, but it doesn't seem to be working. Help! Right, so the remaining rats. One attacks Mako and rebounds off his armor with a faint boink noise. And,
Even or odd?
That was 9, so odd.
Okay.
And the one attacking Eric gets 13. So that beat your defense?
Yep.
Okay, so you take 14 hit points of damage and are poisoned if you weren't poisoned already.
I was already poisoned. I have a crisis number is 22. So does that mean when I hit that number or lower hit points, or take that number?
It's that or lower in hit points, then you enter crisis.
Okay, so I'm at lower than that. So I'm on 20 now. Okay.
Wait. Can I go ahead and use my protect action?
You attacked last turn.
Yeah, but the way the skill reads, it's whenever another creature is threatened by an attack, spell, or other danger, you may take their place. Any checks that are part of the danger will be performed against you, and you may declare the use of the skill before or after the checks have been made.
So a special skill, not the protect action. Does that cost you anything?
Let's see. The danger has already affected you. It affects you twice. Resolve both instances separately. You also cannot protect multiple creatures from the same danger. If you use a skill during a conflict, you cannot use it again until the start of your next turn. I haven't used it yet, so it doesn't cost me anything.
But this is a special ability from your class, is it?
Yeah, Guardian. It's on page 197.
Yeah. Protect. Okay, so you can only use that once per turn. The check's already been made, so because the check's already been made, you essentially take the hit. So, what was the last amount of damage we did to Eric?
13, I think.
Okay, so you don't take it, and Mako does instead.
Okay. And what was the opponent's attack roll?
That time, I just knocked the dice with the book, so...
That was also a 13. That I do remember. It was 2 above my defense.
Oh, okay. Damn it. None of these guys are proccing my special.
All right. No, hang on. Have you caught it?
Caught it.
Okay, you want me to get rid of it? Okay, I will be right.
Wasp duty.
Yes.
Is it just me, or has anybody else been getting, like, since this is like kind of like an anime style thingy, I guess this whole rat fight's like a montage covered by like a Diva Licorice Whip song. And we always reset back to Eric. Dun 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 dun.
Oh. One of the reasons I keep asking him what the enemy rolls whenever they attack is because I have counterattack. So after an enemy hits or misses with a melee, or it hits or misses me with a melee attack, if the result of their accuracy check was an even number, I perform a free attack against them. Okay. So yeah, this character literally is a wall. He's designed to defend everybody else and counterattack everyone else.
Oh yeah, just for those that don't know, I was throwing in balls of steel in the private chat when he was like AC 20.
What does it mean for rolling doubles? Was there something special about that?
No.
If you roll doubles and there's 6 or more, it's a crit, and you can create an opportunity, and there's a list of them on the crib sheet. But I defer to T because he knows the rules better than I do.
Yeah, I don't know the rules of this at all.
T-shirt. Do you know the mind points? That's part of the magic system, right?
Yeah, but they can be depleted like from enemy attacks and stuff, and if they hit 0, you're basically exhausted. Okay. But using them is something that you can also do if you have like certain spells and stuff.
No, I just have the mind point number and a lot of like sword attacks. So I was wondering if there was some type of like, Kai focus or Jitsu, since it's the whole samurai vibe.
There might be. I don't know if they're applicable to the classes you have right now. I've never seen the Fury. I've never worked with the Fury class. The Weapon Master class is something I have also, but I don't think it uses mind points either. I think mind points are usually used up by casters and people with special abilities. Like, let me see. Who uses mind points?
So, at the worst end, effectively, this is like another HP kind of shield type of thing.
Which one? Fury?
No, the mind points. The mind point pool.
Yeah, I mean, like, an enemy can attack your mind points instead of your hit points, and since you probably have less mind points than hit points, they could effectively, like, take you out of the fight faster that way.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like, Mako doesn't have a whole lot of mind points. He's got a lot of hit points, but...
So, how many XP are giant wasps worth?
Don't know.
Right. Where were we? I have lost track.
A rat just attacked Eric, and Mako just took the hit for him.
Yep. Okay.
And Eric was at the end of the round, so I think we're starting a new round.
So yeah, it's your turn.
If you want to let me go first, I will go ahead and attack Eric's rat.
Since there's a flanking, is there any bonuses that the game gives for it?
Well,
I can hit it anyway. I rolled an 11, and with my +3, it's 14 to hit. So
yeah.
So I'll nail Eric's rat for 13.
I think you can mod the difficulty by like +or -2 in normal circumstances. So I'd give you a +1 for being behind it. Sorry, what did you get, T-shirt?
I got a 13 to hit and a 13 on damage on Eric's rat.
On Eric's rat. Okay.
Yeah. And I believe I still have another one on me.
Yeah, you had one attacking you anyway.
And
then you intercepted the one that was going for Eric. So you currently have 2 rats scurrying around over your body trying to find weak parts to chew at.
Oh, should have just one now.
No, you didn't kill it. Perhaps you had to pull your blows a little bit not to smash yourself. So yeah, you sort of stabbing at yourself without actually stabbing yourself, trying to get at these things. It's crawling all over you.
That was a good hit.
Since we're there, I'll take advantage of that flanking and stuff like that, whether I'm flanking with Mako or Eric. So I rolled 7 + 4 is 11, plus another 4 is 15, and I will take that flanking point because I'll take all the points I can get for 16. And then my high side was 7 + 10 is going to be 17 points of damage on the rat that was targeting Eric specifically.
Okay.
And then move action would be move to cover or help Ichabod flank with his rat, because that was the one that was dropped from the ceiling.
Yeah. So your sword slashes out, cuts into the rat. They're both on Mako at the moment, without smashing completely into Mako. So yeah, the rat bleeds all over Mako's mechanisms and drops off him onto the ground, landing on its back with its little paws up. Okay, so Ichabod and then Eric.
Yeah, I'll take a shot at the rat. It's on Mako, the last one.
Go for it.
First, I'll move though to get myself in an angle where I can. If the shot misses, it'll go past him. Okay. So 7 and 7 is what? 14?
So that's a double.
14.
So that's
Plus 4
14, which is a hit, and you got a critical. So
I was just asking about this too. What do we do for critical?
okay, so the doubles, the check automatically succeeds, so automatically hits, and you get an opportunity. So you can have an advantage to the next attack by you or an ally. You can cause it an affliction. You can create a bond. What else is going to work here? You would have thought it would do more damage.
Blow his little spine out and make him paralyzed. Well, that's an affliction, right?
Yeah. Could have sworn there was something about doing more damage as well, but maybe not.
Oh, Grim, when you have a minute.
Is there a special exception in combat? Don't think so. Which is weird because in most of the computer games, there's usually the option to do extra damage. Yeah, it's just an opportunity. All right. So, well, you could give Eric advantage on his next attack.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. And so you rolled 14. What was the highest roll?
7. But the 4, the actual roll was 18 total because it's plus 4.
Yeah.
The damage is 7 plus 8, so 15.
Yeah, 15 damage. Okay. So you shot rakes across it, knocking its paws out from under it, slumps to a brief halt, leaving it open to Eric's finishing attack, which he can make at plus 4 to the total.
Which he makes sort of more or less accidentally because he's actually trying to. He sees the rat that Mako has just killed in front of him, and so Eric's reaction is to try and get behind Mako, not realizing that there's a rat behind him as well. So he kind of comes skittering around Mako's great hulking form to be confronted with this rat, and he just sort of panics and lashes out at it with the whip. And funnily enough, he actually rolled an 8 and a 7, so with a plus 4 was 19 all told.
Okay. So the highest roll was 8. And
yep.
The whip was plus...
So 16. So it's plus 8 for the whip. So 16.
Okay.
All in.
All right. Yeah. You lash out in a panic and lacerate the poor wounded rat, cutting it to ribbons. And,
there, you see?
And Grim?
Yes.
I double checked because I started looking through the rules a little bit. I was kind of like, the defense is really high on Mako, so I miscalculated how armor works. So most of the time it gives you Dex plus something, which is what I added in and got the 20. It turns out that this particular kind of armor just doesn't give you a Dex bonus at all. So my actual defense is 12.
Okay.
Not 20, so.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, because I had 8 points of dexterity in there, and I'm kind of like, oh, wait a minute, I don't get that, do I? So.
No. Okay. But now
there you go. I'm hittable now.
All right, I thought that was high, but then
Oh, and look at that! You've got a bot on Twitch.
probably, but I can't be asked fixing.
Yep.
Because hardly anyone watches them there. All right, that we're at the 2 hour mark with you victoriously, just about managing to defeat some of the easiest monsters in any RPG. So,
Nice.
a bit of
No, these are neutral rats from like the swamps of Louisiana. That's how tough these things are, right? The big fuckers, not New York City rats, neutral rats, man.
All right, so let's take a 10-minute break because I've been interrupted dealing with wasps. And,
All right.
Come back in 10 minutes. All right, I'll drop you out. Mute yourselves. I'll put a little ticker up, and yeah, be back in about 10 minutes.
we gonna do?
Grim, that's how it looks.
I'll take Grim right now.
I am the Grim Reaper.
It's grim.
The bosses are good.
And make it grim.
A grim tale indeed.
It's a little grim.
Meaningless and grim.
It's the Grim!
It's Grim.
Pretty grim, huh?
Things look grim.
And we're back. Hopefully.
Oh.
Hey, oh.
Yep.
Hello.
Sorry, I was muted. Yep, I'm back.
Okay. Yes, so when we last left our daring heroes, they had conquered a small band of 4 giant rats in a rather desperate active time battle scene. We should probably look at healing, shouldn't we? Now,
Did that while we were in break. And unless somebody wants to spend inventory points to make remedy potions, you could also spend up to 3 points to generate basically a camping tent, and everybody can gain the benefits of resting. But it's a 4 to 6 hour rest. But I think I'm the only one who got hurt. Or did Uoka get hurt too?
Yeah, I got hurt and poisoned, and I believe Eric was also poisoned and hurt as well.
Okay.
yes.
11 points of damage plus poison. I'm gonna spend. Did you say 3 points for a kind of medi device type thing potion?
No, okay. So here's what it is. 2 points will give you a tonic, which lets you recover from a single status effect, which poison is a status effect. So anybody who's poisoned can spend 2 points out of their inventory to generate a tonic. If you lost hit points, you can generate a remedy potion for 3, which will allow you to recover 50 hit points. If somebody wants to spend 4, you get a magic tent, which allows the entire group to get the benefits of rest, which can restore hit points or remove a status.
You know, I could use both, so I'll spend the 4 for the tent and 2 for a tonic. That way, I can remove my status and
Well,
heal up. And
I tell you what.
But are we going to spend that long sitting here?
What choice do we have? I'm down 15 hit points. You guys are hurt and have status effects. I'll spend the 4 for the magic tent, because it's pretty easy to see that Mako would carry a tent with him because he's a soldier.
Yeah. Only one of you needs to spend for that, but you all get the benefit.
Right. And you guys can choose whether or not you're going to generate, a 2-point tonic to get rid of your status effect, and then use the tent to heal your hit points, because it's when you're resting for it allows you to restore a status effect or your hit points. It's not both.
Yeah, I'm down 25 and I need a tonic, so I'll spend the 2 for the tonic. I'll use your 10 if you're going to drop that, Mako. But in reserve, I'm going to pre-spend for a tent in reserve that I'll carry with me, since I'm a soldier type as well. That way, if we needed to rest again, if we play this again, or at a later date.
Yeah, but you might as well save your points and do it at that time, because it's automatic when you do it, when you spend them. That's the whole point to having it as points, so you can use whatever you need.
Yeah, you can do it whenever for what you need.
So my guy's the only one who wasn't poisoned or hurt, so I'll stay on guard while you guys rest.
Okay.
Eric draws from the folds of his trench coat a little hospital vial full of dark red liquid, on which is written on which is handwritten on a little piece of sort of sticky paper, Charlie 13.
Is that type A, B, B, or O?
He pauses mid swig as you ask the question. A little drip runs down the side of his mouth. He daintily mops it up. It's the right type, my dear fellow. Finishes the vial, and he'll use that to cure his condition.
Grim, you said my character has the liquor stuff, or like would it be reasonable to have a flask?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'll pop a swig from the flask and offer it to the other three.
No thanks, appreciate it, but if I'm going to stand guard, I'm not drinking.
No, thank you. I do not eat or drink.
I was kind of hoping you were bender powered. You need booze.
And after this nectar, this ambrosia, what attraction can mere alcohol possibly have?
Looks like you're drinking alone, son.
Yeah, so you find a nice little side tunnel where you can pitch your tent and get some rest. Let your wounds heal, wash them out, apply potions and so on as necessary. And then after 4 hours of napping and tending to your wounds.
Oi.
Eat. Yes.
Resting lets you make bonds though. Because it lets you get intimate roleplay.
Yes.
Sorry, gotta use rules.
Okay.
Mainly because the character wanted to ask someone else something.
Okay, go for it.
Olga,
Yes.
why do you drink?
Oh, lots of reasons. Maybe.
But why?
You could just say it maybe goes back to my mom. And we'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah. Mako seems satisfied with the answer, I guess. Won't question it any further.
Ulrich. Or Eric. Have you always been that way, or is it just a thing that you do with your ambrosia, or your nectar of ambrosia, I should say?
I have been this way ever since my becoming, you might say. I was not born this way, but my memory of life before the becoming, those memories are hazy, fading now. If the memory of your mother pains you, perhaps I could change you as well. Then you'd forget.
Really? Is it kind of, what kind of buzz is it?
The best kind.
Uka will get really silent and kind of begin to seriously question it before he looks at Ichabod and be like, your hardware is very nice. Do you have a special craftsman on hand, or do you make your own equipment?
I tinker at it here and there until I get it just right. It's a pretty slick piece.
Do you think you could, and I'll pull out my Nodachi and I'll be like, do you think you could refine this? Maybe at a later point?
Yeah, maybe later, not in this tunnel.
No, not right now. What about, could you give Mako here, our toy soldier, some upgrades?
Oh, I don't know. I think he's probably beyond my skill. Matter of fact, I can't even tell what all his stuff does.
If you're really interested, I could show you.
Maybe some other time. I don't think you'd be taking your armor off right now. We had a hard time with those little rats. I'd hate to see if something bigger gets us by surprise. Well, you guys feeling better?
Yeah, let's get this over with. Starts
Okay.
cracking holes in back. And
So from that roleplay, if anyone wants to create a bond with another character, they can create one bond affixed to one emotion. I don't think there's a character sheet in the book, is there? That's really unfortunate. Bonds.
What do bonds do?
You can tap them for little bonuses during situations if it's someone that you're bonded to. 56. All right, so you can have admiration for someone. You can feel inferior to someone. You can feel loyal to someone. You can mistrust someone. You can have affection for someone or hatred for someone. And these are in pairs, so you can either admire someone or think of yourself as inferior. You can either be loyal to someone or mistrust them, and you can either be affectionate towards someone or you can hate them.
It didn't come out of what we were saying just now, but it came out of the previous combat and Mako's actions during it. I think Arik now feels inferior to Mako. But he'd never, ever express that.
But you feel it, which
yes,
is the
absolutely he does.
Part.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can have bond one inferior to Mako.
as a fellow soldier, I think I'd give Mako loyalty because I can kind of understand him and he can understand me, even though it's a little bit different.
Yep. And what about Marco and Ichabod? It's not something you have to do. It's just something from the rules that you can do.
Yeah, I don't think Ichabod has a reason yet.
Mako has actually picked up some affection for Uoka. Probably because, he can see that he's drinking and he can see he's hurting and doesn't want to talk about it. So he knows that what it's like to be abandoned in the field.
So vibing a bit there.
A little bit.
Yeah. I'm enjoying this, but it is bastard hot and very humid in here. Would anyone object to me moving us forward more rapidly towards the sort of final confrontation and finishing the game early before I die?
No, you're good. I'm fine with that.
So is everyone all right with that? Okay. Maybe we can come back to the game sooner rather than later and do another session of it at some point. Right. Okay, so once you're all rested and feeling better, you fold up the tent and emerge from the side tunnel back to where the violent conflict with the rats went on. But all the rats are gone. There's just a few bloodstains here and there, gone tacky on the walls.
Yeah, because
the
the
bodies
other rats ate them.
vanished. Probably. Right. So, yeah, you follow the pipes further. Again, this all seems very old and rattly, like it's been repaired a lot. It isn't quite the new construction you were perhaps expecting, though here and there, making your way, you do find pieces of newer material. So someone has been down here working. That's for certain. Eventually, however, the pipes begin to multiply and go off at all kinds of odd angles into the walls and along the tunnels and form this great big tangle. You reach the end of the tunnel and it's an abrupt drop ahead of where Mako comes to a halt. and there's this nest of pipes going in all directions, constantly leaking and dripping everywhere. Occasionally there's a clang noise and a bunch of pipes vibrate and rattle as some sort of resonant sound goes through them all. And then there's a shower of more drips of raw ether energy dripping from the various connections. But from here, you can see what appears to be a control room carved into the opposite wall, about 50 feet higher than where you are on this side. There's a couple of harnesses, but they've been chewed through. So if you are going to climb across, you're going to have to do it freehand.
Oh boy.
I actually have an idea. Yuko's gonna look at Mako and be like, "Hey, Tin Man, throw me." Actually, I'll do a running towards you, and then Mike, if you could give me like a leg up to toss me in the air.
If you insist.
Possible special. Let's see. You may want to spend points for bonuses, so you don't just hurl him into the void.
Yeah.
Well, is it like a double might check?
It will be a double might check.
Okay.
But it will be a combined roll, so it'll be a group action between the two of you. So just a sec.
Is there any way I can use loyalty? Because now there's a bond of trust for him to throw me the right one. Okay.
I'm just checking.
And my might and dex is like D10, so it's pretty.
Mine too. Yeah. Well, I think if we do it the right way, you'd roll like might and dex, and then like if you beat the DC, wouldn't it be like you give me a +1?
Yeah, so I was just checking. It's the difference between opportunities and spending Fabula points that I wasn't sure about. So spend them to alter the story or add to existing elements, to add or take your bond strength from a roll, re-roll dice if a trait applies, and use a skill that needs Fabula points. Okay, so getting across this whole expanse would be difficulty 13.
Okay.
All right. For Yoka, that's going to be a might and dexterity roll. But with Mako assisting, Mako needs to make a might roll to hurl you.
Okay. Oh, just before we do this, I'm going to spend an inventory point. Mako is going to, open a panel and produce a rope, hand one end of it to Uoka.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'll lash it onto my waist or whatever. That way I can be hands free if I need to grab onto something.
Yeah.
While we're doing this, like Yuka's going to take a couple paces back and start jumping and get relaxed. It's all like, all right, you ready? And I'll look at Eric. Slap on the ass for good luck. Wait.
My dear fellow, you are far too old.
You've been reading Devil in War, haven't you?
Let's do this.
You got Overwatch ready, just in case I run into something terrible?
Yeah. Okay. Right, so Mako, roll.
Mako has rolled a mighty 18.
Nice.
Okay. So Yoko gets a +1 to his roll, which is a might plus dex roll.
That is...
and you can spend a Fabula point to add your bond bonus to that as well.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so
can you can he wait to see what the outcome is before he spends it?
I think you can wait. Yes.
So yeah, I'd wait.
So you need to.
So I rolled a 4 and a 6, which is 10 plus 1 is 11. So I think I would like to use that Fabula point.
That will only take you to 12. So do any of your traits help you in this situation?
I mean, unless I'm attacking the other side of the area, maybe adrenaline.
Guilt. You're taking the risk for your friends, right? Your new friends. So that can count as an act of atonement. So you can re-roll one of those dice if you want.
Grim, are there any pipes or anything hanging down above him where it looks like he's falling?
He'll probably hit some pipes, and he is tied to a rope to Mako, so he's not going to fall forever and die. He just might get banged up a bit.
Okay, I think that's a little bit better. So the 4 turned into a 5 for 11 plus 1 from the boost of Mako makes it a 12. Plus
a 12, and then if you spend the Fabula point for the bond, that takes you to 13, which is enough.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so you come sprinting forward. Mako grabs you, sort of spins like a hammer toss, and hurls you out into the void. Miraculously, you don't immediately brain yourself on any of the intricate web of pipes that are in the way. You go hurtling across this chasm and hit into the wall at the other side, right next to where this control chamber is carved out into the side.
Ow. Immediately begin to tie off the rope from myself to whatever anchor point that is very sturdy. And then I'll just promptly sit down and be like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those big sort of railway, pull levers arranged here. So you can kind of loop the rope around several of them just to be sure, because Mako looks like he's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And then you've got that tied off successfully.
Yeah, and Mako will tie off the other side so that it's and then go hand over hand.
Yeah. So because you've got the rope and it's nice and secure, it will be an easy Dex plus Might roll to get across. So difficulty 7.
I guess Mako will go first since he's the heaviest anyway.
Yes, and if he snaps it and ruins it for everyone,
yeah,
that's fine.
Oh, it's his rope. I spent the inventory points for it and everything. I got a 10.
Okay, yeah. You get across without much problem. Though maybe Arik, looking on, is thinking that you could get 2 ropes and 2 Makos, and then you could bash them together.
There we go.
All right, so Ichabod and Arik need to beat a 7 to climb across safely as well.
All right, Eric, you want to go?
Licking his lips anxiously.
Watching with the gun, man.
Looks up. Starts hand over hand, trying in his inferiority, trying to mimic Mako's kind of swift, monkey-like motion up this rope. He gets about halfway up before he suddenly goes, "No, I can't do it. I can't do it." I rolled a 4.
Okay, yeah. We'll go with you're stuck with fright in the middle. So yeah, you're just frozen, clinging onto the rope.
Yeah.
So is this rope? It's going across the chasm, but is it like going slightly down?
Slightly
when he
up.
jumped, I assume it went down a bit.
No, it's aimed slightly up, actually.
Okay.
So if Arik loosened his grip, he could just slide down the rope back to where you are, but he'd still be on the wrong side of the chasm then. Let's see if there's any tense music.
Well, we're tied off. Is there any extra rope?
Yeah, there's probably a bit extra hanging off.
All right. So I'll untie it from where it's securely tied, and sort of slide it down a bit so the angle's steeper, so he'll start sliding this way.
What are you doing? What are you doing, man?
Well, you're stuck in the middle. Better be at one side or the other.
Yeah, at least I'm still here. No, what are you doing? He's bouncing up and down on this rope, holding on for dear life.
Yeah, can you make another Dex plus Might roll, please?
Oh, for fuck's sake. So that's a 2 and a 1. That's a 3 with a 1. So I guess that's a
okay. You lose your grip on the bouncing rope and tumble into the pipes.
Grim, can I I want to see if I can try something. Shit. Let's start this session. One for each fumble. All right. So for my take, this resets my ability to spend another Fabula point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any way that I can just say, "Son of a bitch, Mako, hold on the other end very tightly," and like I'll grab the rope and try to slide myself down to fall loosely just enough to like try to grab Eric and then grab the rope and try to hold on for dear goddamn life.
Since you're spending a Fabula point, I will allow you to try. Yeah, you see that he's about to drop and then go for it. Okay, Dex plus Might.
Okay. Fabula point is a +1, so 2 and 9 makes 12.
Okay. Can you get an extra +1 from anywhere?
Well, you're trusting me to hold the rope, aren't you?
Trusting Mako to hold the rope tighter than where it's latched to. So
another Fabula point then.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah. And you slide down, and just as Eric loses his grip, you grab him by the forearm.
So, why are you so heavy?
Heavy? Heavy? I'll have you know my BMI is impeccable.
Well, tell your BMI to get back on this fucking rope.
I guess probably I notice I'm wearing a backpack, so probably the safest thing to get hold of me by is probably by the strap of the backpack or something. So I can lever myself up and actually get myself so that both my legs and arms, because it was only because he was trying to imitate Mako out of a sense of inferiority that he tried doing it like hand over hand in the first place. But cured of that delusion.
So Yoko then has to climb the rest of the way back up with Eric clinging to him like a terrified cat being rescued from a tree. So can Yoko make a Might Dex roll, but the difficulty will be raised by 2 to 9.
Mako could reel him in.
Yeah, can you just reel us in?
Okay, make a might roll. Difficulty.
Might. So apparently those pipes you tied it off to were like steam covered or something, because they slipped through my fingers and I rolled a 6.
Fuck.
However, what's the difficulty?
9.
Oh, jeez.
You've got have you got anything you could use to spend a Fabula point for a reroll?
Yeah, I have I have 2 bonds with Uoka already.
Okay.
Can I ask something? Is the rope now loose because it's falling?
Well, it's still tied on that side.
Yes, it's tied on his side, but not on my side because I'm holding.
Not on your side, no.
Yeah, since I'm basically a cowboy, can I do a cowboy lasso with the rope and just do a quick flick around them and yank it off onto the top of a pipe?
I don't see why not. That seems like a cowboy thing to do. I won't even make you spend a Fabula point for it. So let's see, hurling a lariat. It's a combination of strength for the throwing and Dex for the accuracy, so Dex and Might.
6-6.
Okay, crit. Yeah, you quickly grab the rope, sort of wrap part of it around you to hold it steady, knot the other part into a loop, and as you see them sort of slowly losing their grip and slipping further and further down, you whip out the loop, get it around both of them somehow, and pull it tight. Right, so you two are now suspended in a tangle of rope between Ichabod and Mako.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and burn a Fabula point to increase my check to +2.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's 2 points of bond. And then I'm going to blow another Fabula point because I have the guilt trait. So it's like, I've already let someone down once. I can't do it again.
Yeah.
So that's going to give me should give me another point and give me a total of 9.
Okay.
Is that so? If he gets that side tied off or secured now, why don't we just yell down to him like, "You guys hold on," and then let my end go so they can swing across the chasm, and then he can just pull them straight up.
Well, I already am.
Yeah, but I mean, I still have my side. Like, let my side completely go so they can swing because they're tied to it now.
Or even Mako could pull all three of you up.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah, I ain't risking being on that. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I'll allow it because
you two go. No, those two go. I'm not going with it.
Yeah, I just burned 2 Fabula points, so
yeah. That's
what
I'm saying.
Yeah,
undo this side completely so that you. That's what I meant to support what you were saying. So you would go.
All right, so yeah, you can let it just kind of not drop, but you can slowly let it go from your side.
Yeah. So they can cross the chasm.
Mako sets his feet apart, and it begins to glow from deep in his chest. Several of his metal plates sort of pop out, and steam pours from between the gaps. And he just sort of hauls them up hand over hand.
Yeah, I don't know who or what I'm holding tighter between the rope and Eric.
When Mako gets woke up and like eye level with him pulling up.
I'm sorry, the rope was slippery.
We're good.
Okay.
Eric's inferiority means that he totally ignores Mako, but he leans over to Walker. And Eric has got those kind of long, overly long fingernails. And he reaches them out, lifts Walker's chin, and just sort of drags the a long nail across his jugular. Oh, my dear boy, if only you were a few years younger. Thank you.
No problem. Cheers as I pull out the flask. But Ichabod will catch a glance of like, I don't know whether I admire you or feel inferiority towards your dexterous use, but I'm thankful for either. Next best, there's definitely a bond going there.
But since Ichabod didn't let himself be pulled up by Mako, he's still on the other side of the chasm.
Yeah, and if you didn't trust me, that could be mistrust.
No, I didn't trust. It wasn't the fact that you were strong enough. It was the fact I don't trust the rope. That's a lot of weight on the rope.
It was enough to carry me.
Yeah, but you said the rope got all slippery and stuff, so I was thinking it's got oil or something on it, so that
most sessions people get stymied by doors. I think this chasm is our door for this session.
I think Mako was just patronising me when he was saying the rope was slippery. I think he was just,
I'm looking along the wall. Do any of those pipes make it all the way over to where they are?
He's gonna Indiana Jones.
He'd be better off kind of hopping from pipe to pipe, or climbing from pipe to pipe at least.
Yeah,
I'm
just gonna climb along the outside, but I'm gonna take my bandolier off and wrap it around one of the pipes. So I got something solid to hold on to and just sort of slide along the pipe as I walk.
Cool. Okay. Make a Dex and Might roll difficulty 8.
9.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit touch and go because there's ether that's leaked all over these pipes and other substances and bat guano and Eric's flop sweat and God knows what else. But eventually you manage to climb up out onto the other side.
I am not nearly as daring as you guys to jump that pit. You crazy motherfuckers.
So there's a bunch of panels with various dials and gauges and things on them, and there's a bunch of big, those big squeeze handle levers that are used to change points on railways and things normally. There's a couple of crude sort of hammered metal chairs. Doesn't look like anyone's been here in a very long time. It's a lot of cobwebs and dust.
Instructions?
I get +2 on checks to perform and examine, interact with machines and technology and constructs. So this counts. So I can finally use my specialty.
Okay.
Did they give us instructions on which ones were to pull?
They gave us a list of like presets to set this machinery to. Yeah.
Right. So, what is it you want to do as Mako? Do you want to just make the adjustments?
Well, that and kind of understand how the power is redistributed. I mean, it's like, is it possible that I can not only redistribute it to the gang boss, but also to like other areas that are lacking in?
Yeah, if you can get a good enough roll. So,
okay. Because Mako is guilt-ridden.
Yeah, make a roll to grok the system. Okay. So that will be...
I'm guessing double insight.
Some of it's memory and sort of your connection with machines. So I'll allow insight and will.
Okay. I have Tinker. Can I assist him? Since I'm a tinker.
Yes, you can make an insight will roll as well. You roll first.
Yeah, you roll first.
While they're doing this, I'm going to go and keep an eye on just in case something comes at us.
Yeah.
Just an 8.
This stuff's really old. You're more into cutting edge technology. This is just it's not your thing. Okay, and Mako's roll?
I got an 8 with a +2, brings it up to a 10.
All right. So you stop and you look and you examine it all, and this entire array, this contraption, all of these dials, they're not hooked up to anything. Only one of the big levers is attached to anything, and it seems to be connected via an ether with an A cable to the big bank of gauges and dials and things on the back wall.
That seems like the one to throw then.
Okay, you grab it and you pull. A couple of crystals set in the walls begin to glow slightly. There's a sharp and abrupt smell of ozone, and then the rear wall splits and opens up, revealing a secret chamber.
Was not expecting that.
Is there anything like threatening inside?
So, looking down in there, there's a bunch of shelves with old clockwork and other Magitech toys and things set up. Sort of, packed away on the shelves, put on display. Past them, beyond them, there's a few other crates and boxes. Look like they haven't been touched in a very long time. Beyond them and past an enamel metal clown's head with an open mouth, which is very unsettling and weird. Beyond that, there's some big rock crystal windows and some sort of armored door. And beyond that, you see what is presumably the actual control room and what seems to be some sort of little hideaway someone's built back here.
I think this is what he was really after.
Yeah. Is there any blades in that display case of augmented items?
So, well, rummaging around in the boxes and crates that you can see here, there is a locked box, a strong box bound with steel brackets, which looks like it might have something interesting in it. It's the only one of the boxes that's actually locked and closed.
Hey, Mako, you mind using some of that strength to bust this lock? Might be something useful.
Yeah, Mako will take a look at the lock and see if he can burst it. Maybe with a strike from the shield.
Yeah, examine it as if you're going to pick the lock and then smash it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, make a might roll.
Might.
And you can have +1 for using the edge of your shield as a crude tool.
18.
All right. Yeah, the padlock is sundered into many, many tiny pieces, and the box flies open. On top is a rather stiff and old black blanket. When you remove that, beneath it is a very ornate-looking dagger, and as you look at it, it sort of gleams dark. You see some very dark purple runes glow briefly on the steel.
I'm gonna pick it up.
I was gonna say, how fast is Eric gonna pick it up?
Yeah, it's a long dagger with a sort of triangular blade. Feels very nice and light in your hand, and when you whip it through the air, sort of just it sort of smears briefly like an after image of black.
Huh.
There's also a broad Viking style belt in there, and a purse of monies.
Anybody care if I grab this dagger?
No, that's fine.
There's a belt and I guess some money in the box.
I'll take a look at the belt.
Should take the money.
Well, I assume we can all split the money.
So it's a broad belt, about 3 times as thick as a normal belt, sort of like a Viking waist belt. It has some very shiny brass fittings on it and a whole bunch of loops and pouches for you to store stuff in.
Okay, but it's just a regular belt. There's nothing special about it. It's not magic.
It is magic. You're a tinker, so checking it over. You believe it to be an explorer's belt. It will grant you +2 to your initiative and 2 extra equipment points.
Oh, okay. I'll pop my gun rig off and put it on and pop the gun rig over top of it.
Yep. It all seems to fit surprisingly well. And the purse contains about 1,000 zenit in high denomination coinage.
Well, if somebody wants to hold on to that for all of us.
Yeah, I'm not actually interested in the coin. I'll just keep the dagger. I'll be fine with that. If you guys want to split the coin between all 3 of you.
Well, I'll just hold on to it for now then.
Well, make sure we all get some of that, Eric, because I got an ex-wife. I got to pay alimony.
Yes.
I won't say no to a draught of a fine bourbon or hard whiskey. What about the display cases? You said the open ones. Or
the shelves just have all these weird clockwork toys and so on, and then beyond that is this enameled clown head, and then beyond that there are rock crystal windows and a big complicated-looking armored door. Beyond those windows, you can see what seems to be someone's hideaway. Like there's a little bed and some supplies and so on back there.
Mako, does any of this clockwork stuff seem useful to you?
I'll look it over, see what.
Yeah. In the clockwork toys, are there any that are wind up bear or something like that the little girl would like?
Yeah, you can find something a little girl would like. Yeah, there's plenty of wind up bits. Mako could probably replenish his equipment points by scavenging parts from some of these devices.
I will do so.
Yeah. Well, when he starts grabbing and tearing stuff apart, I grab the little clockwork bear before he gets it.
Yes. Cool, no problem.
That's for my daughter.
So I can restore all 6, or how many inventory points can I get back?
You can get back. What's your insight?
D6.
Roll D6 and get back that many.
Oh, nice. Okay. 1. Well, it's something. I mean...
You found a spoon.
Yeah.
Use the spoon.
This could come in handy.
Ichabod, since you're the tinkerer guy, what do you think is up with that clown's face? I don't like it.
I don't know. Let me take a look. I'll, look under it, see if there's any mechanism underneath it or anything.
I'll be a step up him just in case. If he gets in trouble, I can pull him back if something bad happens. I just don't trust it. I hate clowns.
Everyone hates clowns. So it looks like it's part of some other machine, and it's been torn out of that and then rebuilt here. Mm-hmm. Inside the mouth, there is a sort of funnel at the bottom of it that then runs down into hidden mechanisms beneath the floor.
Take out one of the coins and throw it in the mouth.
Okay. Yeah, it clunks and rattles and slides down into the mouth. You hear distant gears and things turning. And then around the door, a bunch of little paddles stick out and start flapping backwards and forwards. And they have numbers on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they flap back and forth for a while, maybe about 30 seconds, and then they stop and the whole mechanism stops.
Throw in 2 coins.
Okay, they both rattle down inside, and the mechanism starts up again, and the paddles flap, drop back in again. It goes on for exactly the same amount of time, even though you threw in 2 coins, and then stops.
Well, as they're flapping, can I smack one of them?
Yep.
Try to, in case it's a switch or something.
Can you make a Dex might roll to slap one up successfully?
9 and 6.
So 15. Yeah. Okay, so you toss in another coin, they start up again, you hit one of them, it makes a ding noise and stays out, and the rest of them keep flapping.
If they're still flapping, I'll hit another one.
Okay, so try and hit all of them in the time. Make another Dex plus might roll.
5, 10.
But that's a crit.
Yeah.
No, it's not, because it's not 6 or higher. So you manage to get 5 of them, but it stops before you get to the 6th, and they all reset.
And nothing seems to happen?
No.
Well, how about we work together on this one?
Like cheating at skee ball.
Yep.
All right.
Between the two of you, it's going to be a lot easier. So both of you make Dex plus might rolls. And Probably very aware at this point that these are very large denomination coins he's been throwing down the clown gullet.
Well, actually, I'm going to see if there's something sort of small. I don't know, like a cog wheel or something.
Don't we have Zenith coins on us anyway? Like,
yeah, you've got a few. Yeah, you could use some of your normal coins.
Yeah, I'd be using normal coins for this whole thing.
Or a cog would probably work. Yeah.
Oh shit. 3 and 5 for 3 and 2 for a total of 5.
I got 4.
Yeah, so yeah, you get yours, but Yoka probably because he drank so much after getting across the chasm, there's a little bit slow and clumsy off the mark and doesn't get them all. You're gonna have to try again.
All right.
You're definitely leaning towards inferiority towards Ichabod now.
16.
9, 4, and 5.
What did you get last time?
2 and 3.
So, okay. All right. This time, barely, you managed to hit all of them. All of them go ding. All of them stay out. There are more clanking and clicking noises. And then the paddles all fold in on themselves. The door starts to clank and rattle. Bits of it move. Some split apart. Some pull together. You find yourself sort of fascinated watching the whole process. And then you realize, in horror, that the door is opening by taking the shape of a bronze golem. And it steps down out of the door frame, swivels its mechanical eyes upon you, and makes a angry, snorting grunt. Apparently, you're not who it was expecting. Steam from its various joints, and roll initiative.
I think I saw this on what was it? Labyrinth? Yeah.
Yeah, very similar, but no goblin inside. Okay, so who's leader for initiative?
I think that's me.
Ichabod.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone else roll their dex and insight. Difficulty 10.
Oh my god, I actually got 10 on the dot.
So
You can get a +1 from me.
I failed 6 and 2 for 8, so below 10.
How did you do that? You're so good at this.
I got 22 before you guys do anything.
You can't get 22 before we do anything. You're supposed to wait until we finish.
Yeah, I know, but I was rolling at the same time, and I just saw 2 zeros, and I was happy.
That's all right. So you don't need my success to add to that. Then.
Okay, you guys are definitely quick off the mark. Yeah, Ichabod realizes before the thing has finished transforming what's happening. Now, something special happens if you do get a crit on initiative. Let me just look it up. I think you get a free extra turn or something.
That would be nice.
It's not quite that, but it's something similar. Conflict, initiative, 61.
When I was a kid, I used to pray every night for a new bicycle. Then I realized that the Lord doesn't work that way, so I stole one and asked him to forgive me.
Now I read something about.
T-shirt. While he's looking that up, if you've got a copy of the book, tell me what.
I do, but I didn't hear you.
Does please?
A what?
Yeah, you roboted a bit.
You want to repeat that?
Apparently not.
Kitster.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You want to repeat that? You roboted out.
Sorry. Yes. Could you tell me what a hinder action does?
Okay. use that. So hinder action. You force an opponent into a disadvantageous position. This may represent a variety of actions, a feint, a diversion, or even a stinging remark. Once you have described your approach, you perform a check against your target with a fixed difficulty level of 10. The Game Master will determine the relevant attributes based on your description. Example, Camilla has challenged the Death Knight Brandon to a duel. She circles the imposing warrior and attempts to put the light of the sun behind her, hoping to dazzle him. The Game Master calls for a Dex plus Insight check. If your check succeeds, you inflict one of the following status effects upon the loser. Dazed, shaken, slow, or weak. Your choice.
Cool.
And I'm guessing you want to know what those do, right?
I may well do, but let's just see whether I succeed first. So
Yeah.
I'm going to spend my last...
I think I was getting muddled up. So I think it's just the critical means you automatically go first as a team regardless. So that's the advantage of it.
So I'm going to use my last remaining Fabula point to invoke my high speed. At the start of a conflict, I spend 10 mind points, choose an option before the start of the first round. And the thing I'm going to choose to do is to hinder this machine.
Yeah.
So it's basically a DC 10 check. And what I'm going to try and do now, you say there are lots of sort of
status
mechanical widgets and things like that lying around here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to try and do is, and this is a golem. It's jointed. It's steaming. What I'm going to try and do is to damage its joint somehow. In other words, what I'm going to try and do is inflict the slow condition on it.
Yeah.
But
let's see.
Yeah, that'll reduce his dexterity die by 1 size.
Is that what that does? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you can try and do that. So the difficulty is 10.
And I get a +1 on this roll. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, maybe you want to enrage it instead?
Okay, if that's more efficient and gives us a better advantage than that, yeah, absolutely. Whatever is the most efficient.
Well, because enraging temporarily reduces the dexterity and insight die sizes by 1.
Okay, sure. That's a better effect. Yep.
Yeah,
yeah.
Your character could be enraging. We all know that already.
You're good at pissing people off.
Sorry,
so,
had to.
The roll is at +1, so I only need a 9. I'm rolling 2d8, whatever happens, and that is an 8. No, a 6 and a 4, so 10. So yes, made it by 1.
So reduces his dex by 1 die type, and what was the other
Insight.
Insight.
Insight. Okay, and it is enraged. We're going to end up nearly going the full 4 hours anyway, I think. Okay. All right. All duly noted. Yeah, so you dart forwards and stick a bunch of spare cogs and pocket lint and whatever else you've got into its various joints, meaning its transformation is slightly less complete than it should be, and it's making horrible grinding noises every time it moves, and oil and other fluids are dripping out of the various parts that haven't fully transformed. I guess it's the sort of equivalent of sticking a stick in the spokes of a bike in a lot of ways.
Exactly, and then stepping away, and Harvey Keitel from the Duelists. La!
If you guys don't
All
mind,
right.
I want to tag on to that one. I want to tag on what Eric was doing.
Yeah.
So this golem is pretty tall, right? A lot taller than I am.
Yeah. It's got a couple of feet on you.
So, is there a way I can do a run up the enemy and plunge my sword and hold on to it on its back? Since
Yes.
because Ichabod and I were just like right there in its face, so
Yeah, I have an idea too. I'm just waiting until Jan says something.
Yeah, you can get up on it. Well, you
Okay.
can take your turns in any order you want. So,
So while you said it's slowly coming together,
yeah,
while it's coming together, I think this works right. The elemental shard thing for your inventory points.
yeah,
Is that supposed to be a thing? I'm not really sure.
yeah. It's like a little crystal of the magic. So you can either do that, or you can channel elemental effects through your gun.
Yeah, I know. But what I was going to do is I was thinking of taking like a handful of those, basically my bullets, and throwing them into the works as it's coming together, because it says that the creature just suffers 10 of an elemental type of your choice.
Yeah, you could do that. So let's let Yoko go first. So, sorry, you were planning to run up onto it? And
yeah, I was gonna plunge my sword in to make it like weak or slow, and just like hang on to it. That way, I'm kind of an encumbrance on its back while kind of riding.
Okay, so you want to hinder it as well.
Yeah.
So which hinder do you want to add to it?
Let's try to make it weak, since I'm plunging my sword, trying to
reduce
while
its
first forming.
Yeah. Okay, so make your hindering attacks. So the difficulty is 10.
Difficulty 10, and then I'm using my dex and might, like normal.
I believe so.
Okay. And is this so? Hindering is not an attack, so I'm not going to add my +4 to it.
No.
All right. 10 and 5 is 15.
15. Okay. I'm just double checking quickly. Okay, so it's up to the games master to determine the relevant attributes. So it's using your sword, so why not? So yeah, that reduces its strength. So,
and I'll be holding on to the sword and trying to like wrap my legs around it. But
yeah. So you come running up on it, drive the enormous blade of your Nodaichi through it, severing several oil cables, and sort of that's leaking pneumatic fluid, and you're sort of hanging around on its back, dragging it back slightly, so it's unable to move as fast or to operate with the full power that it should have. So Ichabod,
like I said, as it's finishing coming together, I'll throw my entire inventory worth of those crystals into it. Let it slam on.
How many inventory points have you got?
10. So I can give 50 points of damage.
Yeah. What element?
Ice.
Ice. Okay.
Pretty sure Golem's not going to be immune to ice.
Okay. Yeah. So you just sort of shake out your bandolier, basically, and hurl the magical bullets at the thing. A whole bunch of them hit into it and go off, and its front half is instantly covered in thick sheets of ice. I think there's a special effect you can get from elements.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just looking at this inventory thing on your cheat.
I can't see it immediately, but yeah, it was an automatic effect. So, ice expands from the inside of it, cracks a bunch of its metal plates. It slows down even more as its internal mechanisms are cooled. So the poor thing hasn't even got a shot off yet, and you guys have severely fucked it up. Arik still has his normal action.
He does, yes. He's going to get out his whip. I mean, I don't think there's any mechanical way of doing this. Obviously, I'm really just trying to tangle its feet up, so any damage will...
Yeah.
And not with a 7, so I don't think, unless it's extraordinarily slow.
Its defense is 8, so...
Yeah, no, missed it.
Yeah. Your chain briefly wraps around one of its legs, but as it stomps forward, it's basically just ignoring it. If you don't pull the whip back, you'll just get dragged along the ground. Okay.
And Mako gets to go.
Everyone can have a Fabula point.
Oh yeah, because it's a villain.
Yeah, or a boss,
Okay.
a mini boss anyway. Had you gone?
Nope.
No. Okay, so you'll go.
Okay. So, since everybody has given me so many openings to attack this thing, I might as well. So I'm going to move in, get directly into its line of sight, and attack with the sword, and hopefully goad it into attacking me. And hopefully that sucker will roll even on the dice.
Chance to be a fine thing. All right.
It do. Okay. Attack roll is a 13 after all pluses.
That's a hit. So the highest dice plus the damage.
Okay. Then that would be 14.
14. Okay.
Pretty strong hit, actually. It's maximum damage.
Yep. Okay, yeah, you dart forward and slam your sword into it. It breaks through the shell of ice, and the cold has made its armor plating fairly brittle. So you smash through a whole bunch of that. It roars, raises its fist to the sky, and whatever internal engine is powering it trips into overdrive as it enters crisis mode. It begins to glow red, and steam is now flying out of every crack and joint in the thing.
That's not good.
So it's go. All right,
That-
it is in.
Probably hurts me a little bit. Yeah, that probably hurts me.
Little bit, not enough to be any damage, but it's uncomfortable. So Arik is the one who enraged it, and Mako is in the way. So let's see. Dex and might.
And remember,
He gets two attacks.
Yeah, well, it's Dex and Insight are reduced in dice right now.
Yes.
As well as it's also weakened.
Yeah, it's got all the ice stuff.
Right. What is Mako's defense?
It is a 12.
All right. It slams one enormous fist into you, but your armor takes the brunt of it, and you just sort of slide back a couple of inches on your big armored feet.
But what did it roll?
It rolled 11.
Damn it!
And since it didn't manage to do any damage to you or shove you out the way of it or anything, it decides to hit you again, and it got a 7.
Damn it!
But neither hit was effective. So it has wailed on you, but due to it being weakened and so on, you just stand your ground, ward it off with your shield, and all it manages to do is knock you back a few inches.
You will have to do better than that, Construct.
It's you guys' go again.
If you guys don't mind, since I'm still on its back, I would like to go from 2 hands holding my sword that's plunged into it to 1 hand and pull the dagger and stab whatever it has the equivalent of eye holes or a throat area with that new dagger that I found.
Okay. Right. Okay. 1 second. All right. So using the dagger is Dex plus Insight plus 1.
Dex plus Insight plus 1. Gotcha. So it's a 10. Insight is a 6. And then I get to... Do I get to add my Weapon Master stuff?
Yes, I think. Okay. We'll say yes for now.
Sweet! That's 10 plus Western Weapon Master gives me a 14.
Okay, that's very
And
definitely a hit.
Highest roll was a 9, so... what's
Okay,
the
so
highest high roll on it?
9 plus 4 for the base damage of the thing, so that's 13, and it's in crisis mode, and this is an assassin's blade, so it does 15. No, hang on. So we said 13, so it's 18 dark element damage.
And then I'd rest whatever actions I have left to hold on to it and yell at the party, "Kill it now! Oh my god, kill it now!"
As you throw it around on its back like a ragdoll. Okay. The darkness seeps into it and dims this red light that's coming out of every pore. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I want to, for minor action, push that button that pops the dagger part under my blade.
Yep.
And then basically in one motion, try to shove it through the weak spot where Mako had already made a hole. And then once my hand's in there, pull the trigger.
Okay.
Just.
All right, make your attack.
Like a gun punch almost. So add the 4 instead of the 8, right? Oh no, it doesn't hit at all to dagger. So there's no bonus to dagger to hit, right?
No, it's just D10 plus D10.
Just the damage. All right. What's that? 15. So I don't have
That's a hit.
No 4.
What was the highest die?
6 is the highest.
6 is the highest. Plus 4, so 10 damage.
6 is the highest. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I said the wrong thing.
Yeah. 10 damage.
9
damage.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so you stab the blade into the weak point and fire. A whole bunch of cogs and bits fall out of it. The whole thing is now rattling and clanking, and bits are constantly falling out and off of it, but it's still going for the moment. So it's just Arik left, isn't it?
I think Mako is still to go as well this turn.
Yeah,
I think.
I haven't gone yet.
What I'll do is I will go first, and I will try and hinder it again since it's a DL10.
Yeah.
And I think based on what I'm actually trying to do with the whip, I think the condition I'm going to inflict is going to be slow because I'm trying to tangle its legs up, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that is 3, 8, 11.
Okay. Yeah, its legs get tangled up in the chain, and you manage to keep hold of it this time. So it sort of stumbles like its shoelaces are tied together. Okay. And Mako.
All right. Well, everybody's softened it up for me, so I'm going to go ahead and take another stab at it, literally. With a 15, it should hit.
Okay. Yep, that's a hit. What's the highest roll?
Almost maximum. It's exactly the same damage as it was last time. So it's, 12, 13, 14, 15?
Okay. It now looks like a stiff breeze could probably finish it off.
Jim, I screwed up when I read the damage to you. I read the 6. It's not a 6; it's a 9. I read the number upside down, just the way it was sitting on the table.
Yeah.
So it's actually more damage. Not that that's going to matter.
So it makes its last actions as it starts to fall apart.
Hit me! Come on!
Yes, it's okay. Your defense is 12, wasn't it?
Yes.
All right, so that's 16, which is a hit. With its first attack, and that is an even.
But it's a 16. It's an even.
Yes.
So I can immediately counter. Go ahead and deal me your damage first, though.
Okay, you take.
Got it.
22 points of damage.
Ah, that hurt.
So an enormous pile driver fist slams into your side, but you can instantly counter. So what's that mean? You just make an extra attack?
It just means that I make an immediate attack on it. So hit it for another 15 should hit.
Yep.
And I have to take the lower of the 2 dice, so it's a 4 becomes a 10 damage.
Okay, which is enough to finish it off. So yeah, it slams that one huge fist into your side, denting your armor and the mechanisms underneath. You swing your blade down and sever that arm at the elbow. Oil sprays out in all directions. It throws its head back, roars, and explodes. Everyone takes 10 damage. You're sort of deafened and reeling, and smoke billows out, and bits from the internals of the golem are raining down everywhere.
Yeah, especially because half of us are actually on the thing.
Yeah.
I'm into it up to my elbow, and Yoka's on his back with his sword.
Yeah. So actually, you two take 20 damage each. So yeah, Yoko's blown off and slammed against the wall and slid down.
Can I try to make a heroic save or heroic landing at least?
Spend a Fabula point, and you can do a superhero landing.
Oh, come on, don't spend a Fabula point for that.
Well, it's that or land heavily.
Yeah, you know what? The hell with it. You know, we'll game one next session because this is fun enough. I would like to do a next session.
All right. Yeah. So you're blown into the air and then come down into a landing with your fist on the ground. Right, but it does seem to be over. So clutching your wounds, you're able to shuffle in and see the secret room.
I would have followed that up with, I fucking hate clowns.
When I get my arm outside, I was gonna say when I get my arm outside of its guts, I'll be, wow, Mako, that's a nice haircut. I think you shaved my sideburns while you were at it. That is your
Happy to oblige. Ow.
Okay. So yeah, inside there's a little sort of cot bed, bookshelf with a bunch of books on anatomy and mechanics and things. It looks like this was some assassin's bolt hole for a long while, and that's where the dagger and the belt seem to have come from. So rooting around, you do also find another much smaller lockbox. Smashing this one open could threaten to destroy whatever's inside.
Can I pick it?
You can try. That would be a Dex Insight roll.
Take out some tinker tools. 16.
That will open it all day long. I see. You take out your little toolkit for cleaning your gun. Pick out a couple of things from that and use them to fiddle the lock until it unlocks. Inside is a rather chunky industrial-looking key. It's about 5 inches long, with a big cross-shaped head with very elaborate-looking lock heads.
Hold it up. Any ideas? Guys, any ideas what this could be?
Is it actually technology, or?
It's a key. It's an old, heavy key, such as might be used in old industrial technology.
Looks like a way for more pain.
It's a key to something.
So on the controls here, is there an obvious key to unlock them?
Doesn't look like that fits any of them, but you can adjust the controls in here according to the plan you were given, and that should redirect the energy from where it was being sent.
Could I search this new room for like a secret panel and be like, hey, maybe we should search this for another secret hole in the wall like the other one?
Okay, so yeah, don't worry about rolling. You do a sort of fingertip search of the whole room and eventually find one of the books is actually a switch. So you pull the book and part of the wall in here slides back, and in there is a quick travel point to the start of the dungeon.
Okay.
Which is actually like a little crawl tunnel. But essentially you've done it. So are you going to return to BB and give him what you found?
That's what we agreed on, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and it'd be good to not have any more debts.
What is it he was asking for other than switching the switch?
Well, technically that was it. But this wasn't what you were expecting, so maybe he wants something else. Either way, you're supposed to report back.
I bet he'll let you keep the stuff.
Yeah, we can report back.
Yeah, we can keep what we found.
So,
well, he said you could keep anything you found on the way. So
yeah.
So, screen wipe. BB's office, the tiny little toad man behind his enormous desk, surrounded by expensive tat. So, you did it, yeah? You got it sorted out, right? Right? You found the control room. You did everything as I asked.
yes.
Yeah,
Mission accomplished.
Good. Did you happen to find anything else?
Like, you want to be more specific?
Yeah, so there were rumors that maybe an old associate of mine used to have a little bolt hole down there. He had a very nice blade I wouldn't mind having, and a key to an old strongbox of his. So, yeah, if you had those things, I might see my way clear to paying you a bit of a bonus.
And what kind of bonus do we get for this key?
I'll give you 1,000 zenit for the key, 1,000 zenit for the blade.
Well, we might have found the key, but not really sure about the blade unless it was in that giant monstrosity that attacked us. Thanks for the warning.
I didn't know anything about any giant monstrosity. Maybe a few monsters down there, bats, rats, something like that. But...
So I take the key out, say maybe 2,000 for the key, because I'm sure this pays something good, considering what it is.
Unusually for BB, he doesn't even negotiate. He just opens his drawer and counts out 2,000 zenit in fairly large gold bars. There you go.
I look to the others. You okay?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
I drop the key on the desk.
It's fine.
He snatches it and looks at it carefully, making sure it's undamaged. Wow, lovely doing business with you.
Well, wait, we might have found something else for bonus information. Is there what's the incentive?
Well, what else did you find?
Maybe like another hole or hidden passageway.
There's all sorts of tunnels, public and private, hidden away. Yeah, I'll give you another 100 if you tell me where that is.
Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep. We'll tell them about the secret passageway that we didn't spelunk into.
Yeah.
I am not saying a single word about the fucking dagger. The dagger's mine. I earned that bitch.
So that was what I told them. That's why I told them we don't know anything about no dagger. But...
All right. So, mission accomplished. Other mysteries if we decide to pick up the game again at some point in the future. Right. What did we think of Fabula Ultima as a game, Ben?
Oh, I loved it, man. It was great. Easy system to learn. Really does push a lot of the cooperation. And it's got some neat little mechanisms for character and party interaction, whether it's negative or positive. Plus, I really, really like the equipment system because that is, I mean, just having the stuff there that you need when you need it, rather than worrying about encumbrance and stuff all the time.
Like, for that equipment thing, like, did actually doing the bullet thing with the before we fought, did that help out? Like, was that actually
it made sense, and it knocked down about a third of its hit points. So that's pretty good.
I'm definitely down for doing this again.
As am I. I'm really happy the fact that the RP is intertwined and revolves itself and reweaves into the team based, which I really miss that. A lot of the old school games that I played way many years ago, it was all about everybody in the team had roles and blah 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 blah. But this seems to emphasize that. Like, if we got a pause, I would like to give Ichabod an inferiority complex because inferiority is so goddamn awesome that I feel like I'm put to shame, and I'm supposed to be the sneaky mighty one for melee. So
yeah. Well, I didn't do much melee, but
Well, yeah, but your dex is better than mine.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did like the. I liked though how like I was shooting stuff off you, and then Mako was protecting me, and then Eric flashes in with his chain to knock one off. Like the whole back and forth. Almost none of us actually just stopped and attacked the thing that was in front of us. We almost all attacked the thing that was attacking somebody else.
Yeah, and this system felt like it naturally was trying to push us towards that. Like it felt easy to do that.
And it's a very there aren't many games that can elegantly do tactical, non-striking combat things, and this does it actually, I think, quite well.
Yeah, elegant was the word I used for it too.
Yeah, it's like you were stacking debuffs on the thing to make your other fighters more effective.
Now I do draw the line at using computer game terminology, but I accept the premise.
Yes, weakening it, slowing it down. Yeah,
and there's a lot of stuff that we hadn't even explored in this. Like I'm the only person who took a quirk because I happen to have some of the extra books, but the fact that my character was a robot is a quirk which comes from another book, and everybody is allowed to take a quirk that makes them kind of special and different from everybody. So like even if Uoka and Mako had been built exactly the same all the way down the line, we would have had to have both taken different quirks, so our characters would have played slightly different anyway.
And the identity theme and origin help with that. The only thing I think is slightly a weakness is something in a lot of rules-like games, but it's less of a problem here. So, like, trying to decide when you could do something, because everything is stat-based rolls, there isn't a robust skill system, really. Instead, you have all these little special abilities. So, could Ichabod try and pick a lock? He's a tinker, he's got high dex. Yeah, that makes sense. But it's going to come down to a judgment call about whether you can attempt to make the roll or not each time. And I let Mako just smash the lock on the on the other one.
Like, how did you determine like what the special skills were, or the skills?
So the way the class and level system works in this is that each level is a level of a class. So it's a bit like Barbarians of Lemuria in that way. And then each point in that class gives you a special skill or a level in a special skill. So Yoka, who was partially based on the guy from Samurai Champloo, so he's part Fury, part Weapon Master. So Fury is kind of like a berserker, and a Weapon Master is, a more disciplined fighter. So he's a blend of the two.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out whether he should play Gene or the other one in that. He looked like Gene, but he also looked like the rambunctious one. I was actually picking that up.
A bit of both. So his special abilities were Adrenaline at level 2 and Melee Weapons Mastery 3. So actually his levels should have been reversed. I got the numbers wrong, but never mind. So the Adrenaline means that when you're in crisis, so after you've taken quite a lot of damage, you do +4 damage. And then Weapon Mastery just makes you way more effective with your weapon and far more likely to hit. So that's that. For Ichabod, he was Sharpshooter 4, Tinkerer 1. So you were horrendously accurate with your gun. Not that it necessarily showed in the game, but you got +4 to hit with your gun. And then your Tinkerer ability was the Infusion, where you can spend your inventory points to turn your gun blast into a firebolt or an ice bolt or whatever else.
Well, so was that one skill choice, or is that like
yeah, that was one skill choice. So if I quickly look at the shop at the Tinkerer class, if I can find it quickly. I was trying to go for skill choices that were relatively easy for an early game, though nobody chose a magic user, which always makes things a lot easier. Character creation. Okay, here we go. I feel like they should have more classes, and I'm a bit disappointed that the atlases don't actually have more classes.
They do.
I don't see any in here, I don't think. So Tinkerer. Tinkerer skills include emergency item. So when you're in crisis, you can perform an additional action on your turn, but it has to be an inventory action. So you could take an extra action to fling an elemental crystal or whatever. The gadgets ability that you can take up to 5 times.
Like, what was this infusion under?
So, where has it gone?
Okay,
I can't see it at the moment, but there is something that does that. I think it was one of the gadget options.
Okay, the Atlas of High Fantasy, not only does it introduce the fantasy quirks, but it also gives you the 0 powers, which I didn't mess with. But it also has the Chanter, the Commander, the Dancer, and the Symbolist as new classes. The Techno Fantasy book gives you Technospheres, which is a new thing, but it also gives you the Esper, the Mutant, and the Pilot. And then I've got some additional free downloads that added new character classes like the Ace of Cards, which is a really, really cool class.
And are all these characters combinations of multiple classes? Like, I know ours specifically work.
Yeah, you can mix and match the classes. You have to have at least 2 classes on a starting character, but you all start at level 5. So you have 5 levels in classes.
Okay.
So you have to start with between 2 and 3.
So even if you start a new game, you're starting at level 1, you have 2 classes?
No, you start a new game, you have 5 levels, you have 5 classes.
You always start at level 5?
Yes. Split between 2 to 5, 2 to 3 classes at start. You can pick up and mix and match all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I think it's good. That skill issue, it's less of an issue here than it is in something like a Powered by the Apocalypse or Blades of the Dark sort of system, because you can kind of feel it out with the various
organically.
things. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. All right, it is after midnight. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin, so I will bid you good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for playing. Next week, what are we doing, T-shirt?
The settlement will continue. Hopefully, people will turn in their movements for the week, and
I will
pick up.
I will. It's been too crazy though with the car thing. So
I figure.
Yeah. And that's on the T-Shirted Historian channel here on YouTube. So go and sub if you haven't already. And we'll see you later. Tati, bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.